Disclaimer. I do not claim ownership of this story. All rights belong to the original creators. Title: Naruto, Sunagakure Village, Prosperous Village, Strong People. Chapter 41 Meeting with Yi Tsang. Chapter 41 Meeting with Yi Tsang. The Will of Sand. Gathering sand into a tower, unity is strength. Marky felt empowered just hearing the words. The current Lord Luo Sha is indeed an outstanding leader. Marky was already looking forward to the opening day speech more than anyone. Then his eyes stayed on Yashimaru. The first time was to prevent Yashimaru from being killed by Gaara. Lord Raza began to awaken. The second time he came to the hospital to visit Yashimaru and gained a talent like Fujimori. Today, it was because of Yashimaru that Lord Raza understood Sarah. Of will. It seems that there is some metaphysics in it. Yashimaru, it's really up to me to help you improve. Life return, come earlier to help me. Lord Gaara, I've seen you a few times, and you are Lord Luosha's lucky star. Maki, let me go, you are enough for fanatics. He looked at Luo Sha for help. Luo Sha understood and pulled Ma Ji out of the ward. Okay, don't force Yashimaru. The life return technique also has qualification requirements. It will be difficult for Yashimaru to think about bringing the mother and daughter back from Chaoin village in 2 days. Is physical healing possible? I thought that with the destruction of the kingdom of Uzumaki, these magical skills had disappeared, but I didn't expect that there were still orphans of Uzumaki in Kuzukan village. The ninja world is very big, and the Uzumaki country was not destroyed in a day. There are more or less Uzumaki orphans in every country, but many people will not be able to awaken their blood for a lifetime. That's right, not everyone has Lord Luosha's talent. It was an accident to come to see Jojuro. Both of them had a lot of work, and they returned to the Kazekage building not long after. As soon as they entered the door, the genin in charge of reception came forward and reported, Lord Luo Sha, Yi Tsang has been waiting for you in the reception room for a long time. Is Yi Tsang back? Very good, I didn't look for her, she came to me by herself. Raza had looked for Yi Tsang several times, but unfortunately, just the day before Raza rescued Gaara, Yi Tsang went to the coastline to carry out the mission of repelling the invading Kirigakure. Didn't come back for many days. It was true that Luo Sha was looking for her, but not because she was called the #1 beauty in Insha village. Yi Tsang, a possessor of blood succession limited sword escape, a quasi-shadow level master, and the leader of civilian ninjas. As the saying goes, the rich rely on technology, while ordinary people rely on mutation. There are quite a few blood-following ninjas in Chaoin village. The 3 generations in Luosha's magnetic escape are all cultivated by themselves. There were some in the early years, and they all died in several ninja wars. Yi Tsang can be said to be the only orthodox blood successor ninja alive. Born as a commoner and awakened to Burning Dun, Yi Tsang reached the position of an elite genin step by step by relying on his strength. Also because of Yi Tsang's civilian background, Yi Tsang has extremely high ambitions and ideals. She wants to become a power class and even Kazekage, and then change the current inequality of civilian ninjas. For this reason, she continued to rush to the front line of the war, and won the title of Burning Release Yetzong. She was known as the first heroine of Sand Hidden Village after Luo Sha, and had a very high reputation in the village. This also threatened the status of its predecessor. Not only that, Yi Tsang is also very ignorant of praise. Regardless of the group of elders, the 3 major tribes of Lai, men, and he among the 4 major tribes all proposed marriage to Yi Tsang, and even promised Yi Tsang the position of mistress, but they were all rejected by Yi Tsang. He slapped the faces of the tribes inside and outside Sunagakure village hard. A female ninja who was born as a commoner wanted to be a Kazekage, but also offended the elders and the tribe of the village. Therefore, she was teamed up with Kirigakure and sent to Kirigakure to be killed in exchange for Kirigakure's peace. It's all nonsense whether there is peace or not. There are deserts within thousands of miles of the coastline, but Luo Sha would like to invite Kirigakure to come and play from time to time. The main thing is that Yi Tsang must die. In fact, the negotiations with Kirigakure are almost done, and the elders also proposed to exchange Yi Tsang for peace, and the predecessor also agreed. If Luo Sha hadn't come, according to the trajectory, Yi Tsang would have died. Arriving at the door of the office, a slender figure leaned against the door. His light green long hair was pulled up by a hairpin, and 2 strands of long hair hung down along the forehead. The end was the yellow of the sun, which seemed to be very tired. The master with a graceful figure folded his hands on his chest, held his shoulders, lowered his head slightly, breathed evenly, and fell asleep. Different from most sand-proof clothing in sand-hidden village, the short black cheongsam and the waistband in the middle perfectly separate the golden figure, slender legs, and beautiful back, which are completely exposed to the air. Luo Sha knew that this was not the result of Yi Tsang's coquettishness and practicing burning escape. Yi Tsang's body temperature was always high, so it would be more comfortable to expose his skin as much as possible. Cough. Cough. Luo Sha coughed twice deliberately. Yi Tsang woke up from his nap and immediately stood up with a 90-degree bow and said, "Lord Kazekage. This angle, this back, Yi Tsang, you should stand up straight." He opened the door and took Yi Tsang into the office, opened the refrigerator and handed him a bottle of ice water. "Yi Tsang, you must have just come back from a mission. You don't take a break, and you can even fall asleep standing up." Yi Tsang took the ice water and drank a big gulp. His body's dryness was relieved. "I heard that the Kazekage-sama was looking for me, and I happened to be looking for the Kazekage-sama for something, so I came, but the result made the Kazekage-sama laugh. Kill the mist ninjas that are harassing the coastline. I think you are so tired from running around for several days. Let's not talk nonsense. Should I say it first or you? Let me speak first." Yi Tsang stood up and bowed respectfully at 90 degrees again. "Master Kazekage, please take back your decision on compulsory education?" "Ha?" Luo Sha thought for a while, then laughed and said, "Okay, Yi Tsang, did you also think that I was going to start a war, so you implemented compulsory education?" Yi Tsang pursed his lips and said nothing. There was no need to say anything. "What kind of person are you, Luo Sha? You love money like your life. The high tuition fees at the school can't wait to drain a family's savings. The tuition fees of many civilian ninja children can only be made up by a few people. Yetsong secretly paid the tuition fees of many people. As a result, when they came back today, those people took the money and returned it to Yi Tsang, saying that Luo Sha would have compulsory education in the future and there would be no fees, and they also refunded the previous money. Years of battlefield baptism have already given Yi Tsang a certain sense of politics. Like all tribes, Yi Tsang also felt that Luo Sha was preparing for war, so he came to Luo Sha non-stop. Lord Luo Sha, civilian ninjas are already living a very hard life. Although local wars continue, the 5 major countries have basically restored peace. Why should Sir Luo Sha start the war lightly? Luo Sha smiled and did not explain. "What if I say no?" Yi Tsang gritted his teeth and said, "Master Kazekage, although Yi Tsang is not a big shot, but if you say a word among common people, you can still guarantee that there will not be a single civilian ninja child in the opening ceremony the day after tomorrow. It's rare that there is such a pure person." Yi Tsang didn't make any big claims. As the only Quasi-Kage level among civilian ninjas, and having worked for the civilians for many years, his status as a civilian leader was more than just talk. Seriously, it does prevent all civilians from going to school. Do you threaten me? Lord Luo Sha, if the village is at a critical moment of life and death, every civilian ninja will not be stingy with his own blood. If it is just for the ambition of some people, Yi Tsangshu will not be able to obey his orders. The relationship with Luo Sha has long been delicate because of his exposed desire for the position of Fenging, and Yi Tsang doesn't care at the moment. Luo Sha admired Yi Tsang even more. He also had the idea of pulling Yi Tsang into his camp, turned around and took out a document from the cabinet, and threw it in front of Yi Tsang. One last test. Yi Tsang picked up the document and looked through it. His face became embarrassed. What was recorded in it was the plan for Yi Tsang to commit suicide in the name of a false alliance. You have also seen that you have to make a choice between dying as a civilian or dying as a civilian. End of this chapter. Chapter 42 The Fight with Yi Tsang. Chapter 42 The Fight with Yi Tsang. This kind of thing. Yi Tsang fell into an ice cave, and for a moment his years of hard work seemed to be a joke. He thought that with Quasi-Kage level strength and the title of hero, he could be promoted to the powerful class and change the status quo of civilian ninjas. All this is such a child's play in the eyes of high-level officials. Yi-sung was not stupid, and he figured it out in an instant. This was because he was disobedient, refused marriage requests from the tribe and the group of elders many times, and coveted the position of Fonging, so he was punished. Is this the fate of common people? Even the strength of the quasi-shadow level can be given up without hesitation. Make a choice, Yi-sung, let civilians receive compulsory education, or do you go to Kirigakure village and die? Now that Lord Kazekage has let me see this document, will I still die obediently? Does it make sense, Yi-sung? From now on, will you rest assured of any mission in the village? Do you dare to do it? Or are you defecting from Shine Village now? That's fine, and there is no obstacle for me to grasp the power of civilian ninjas. Luo Sha said indifferently. Yi-sung gritted her silver teeth. She really could no longer trust the village, so what could she do in the future, passively waiting for assassination, or actively defecting? After looking at Luo Sha, I suddenly understood. Master Kazekage showed me this document, there must be a third choice. Luo Sha's eyes looked at Yi-sung with unabashed admiration. The third option was to hang out with me. But in Yi-sung's eyes, this kind of appreciation has become a naked desire. Luo Sha, you are shameless. Standing up abruptly, a big fireball condensed in his hand, ready to be thrown. Stop. 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 Is this my office, or do you want to be a traitor? One movie level and one quasi-film level, if you fight, you won't want it in your own office. After all, Yi-sung had some scruples, the fireball gradually became smaller and disappeared, but the heaving chest represented more and more anger. She herself cultivated Zhuodun, besides her body is often hot, her temper is also very hot. In the past, people from the tribe and the elders could not escape her fireball when they molested him. It is already an extremely depressing situation. Am I that anxious? I was actually misunderstood, I just simply appreciate how you are. But Yi-sung is really worth fighting against. There are not many people in Hidden Sand Village who can practice their hands. Chio Ebizo counts as 2, but they can't find him if they have nothing to do. Showa counts as 1, and now the relationship is good, and the sparring is okay, but the fight is always not enjoyable. The patriarch of the 4 major families, Shalu is the elder, Hadao is too weak, Liang and Menbei will not conflict with him, and Yi-sung is good. I am using placer gold, and the opponent is Zhuodun, just to restrain myself. Apart from suppressing Shoha for so many days, he didn't make a move. How about it, Yi-sung? Don't say I won't give you a chance, as long as you fight me unbeaten for 5 minutes on the training ground. How about I give up the compulsory education plan? Is what you said true? Yi-sung seemed to have grasped a life-saving straw. He was at the quasi-shadow level, and Luo Sha was at the shadow level. Although the gap was half a level, it was no longer an insurmountable gap. Moreover, the burning escape he cultivated restrains gold dust. Don't dare to say if you win, just stick to it for 5 minutes. Not only will I give up the compulsory education plan, I will also promote you to the position of elder. When the time comes, your fate will be in your own hands, whether you come or not. Yi-sung also knew that Luo Sha had disbanded the elder group, so he was not lying to himself. Okay, I promise you. In the underground training ground, Ma-ji, as a witness, said start, and Yi-sung took the lead in attacking Luo Sha with 4 huge fireballs. Luo Sha did not move, and a wall of gold dust rose. Put. When the placer gold meets the fireball, white smoke is produced, and gold water flows down along the edge of the fireball. Luo Sha's expression remained the same, he raised a hand, and 3 streaks of gold dust shot out from the ground, as thick as a stone pillar and as nimble as a snake, chasing Yi-sung. While dodging, Yi-sung used chakra to condense a super-large fireball, head-to-head with the 3 gold dust. Stab Lala, the white smoke was getting bigger and bigger, and under the continuous impact of the placer gold, the fireball became smaller and smaller, and finally with an explosion, it was completely dispersed by the placer gold. However, after the white smoke passed, the place where Yi-sung was standing was empty. In the sky, I don't know when Yi-sung reached the top of Luo Sha's head. With his fist raised high, 7 small fireballs condensed and smashed towards Luo Sha. 1. Yi Tsong was secretly happy, and the next moment he smashed half of Luo Sha's body to pieces. This failed, Yi Tsong galloped back before it was too late. Luo Sha, who was smashed by Yi Tsong, had already turned into a gold dust avatar. At this time, the gold dust avatar exploded all over the sky, enveloping Yi Tsong. Seeing that she was about to lose, Yi Tsong's eyes showed determination, and flames burst out from all over her body. Her clothes were burned instantly, and the gold dust that bound her was also burned. I am Nima. Luo Sha, who had eaten very well recently, shed 2 lines of nosebleeds, and Ma Ji on the other side left in an instant. Yi Tsong couldn't care less about his shame. His whole body was ignited with flames again and he rushed towards Luo Sha. This is a birdie. Stop. 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 I admit defeat. You win, you win. Luo Sha crossed her fingers and covered her eyes, then untied the foaming robe on her body. Put on my clothes first. Yi Tsang bit his lower lip tightly. His whole body was flushed, especially his face. It must have been burned. Putting the foaming robe on his body, it still couldn't completely cover it. But he didn't care too much. Master Foaming, don't forget the promise just now. Luo Sha put down his crossed fingers and said calmly, I'm afraid this won't work. Don't worry. Luo Sha stopped Yi Tsong, who raised his hand and wanted to fight again. Do you know that you are naked now? He continued. Why don't you believe that I really want to run compulsory education? Fight, fight, who am I going to fight? After speaking, I had some enlightenment in my heart. No wonder no tribe raised objections. It seemed that they all had the same idea. Except that Shalu really believed in himself in the end. Hadao probably also thought that he wanted to establish his prestige by virtue of the war, and Yi Tsong in front of him couldn't escape, let alone other people. But it's okay, there are mistakes, and when their compulsory education is officially promoted, they will stop them, they will be powerless. If Kazekage-sama really wants to give civilian ninja children a chance to receive ninja education, as long as the tuition fees return to normal, I can afford the rest. I can't see that you are still a little rich woman. With Yi Tsong's strength, he worked hard to complete tasks and accumulated merit, and he really had a lot of money. But this is something Feng should worry about, so you don't need to worry about it. Yi Tsong was suspicious, and calmed down after the fight. In fact, since Luo Sha showed him the document colluding with Kirigakure today, something was wrong. As Luo Sha said, if you really want to fight and train civilians, you can execute yourself secretly first, and then use your own death to encourage civilians. I am afraid that better results will be achieved. But compulsory teaching, Luo Sha's character, and astronomical funds, is it possible? Luo Sha can only sigh countless times that it is difficult to be a good person. The inherent cognition of the predecessor is difficult to change in a short time. However, it is also good to use this matter to deceive people. Okay, I know you won't believe me easily. The conditions I just said for you to be an elder are true. The 4 major tribes cannot run away from the position vacated by the elders. You will be the remaining one. You really want me to be an elder? Sunagakure village has never had a commoner become an elder. So, just watch. If I plan to start a war, it will only take a few months. Then you can use your prestige to lead the civilian ninjas to establish your own business. Only then did Yi Tsong believe Luo Sha's words. Isn't he doing everything possible to be foaming to change the status quo of the common people? If Luo Sha takes the initiative to change, then what is he fighting for? It's good to cooperate with Luo Sha. Lord Luo Sha is really good for commoner ninjas? Nature. Then Yi Tsong dares to ask Master Luo Sha to agree to my request. Said kneeling on one knee. Luo Sha was once again deficient. Sister, you are empty inside. End of this chapter. Chapter 43 Yi Tsong and Amp, #039, S Allegiance. Chapter 43 Yi Tsong's Allegiance. Lord Luo Sha, I left the clothes at the door. Ma Ji saved Luo Sha's embarrassment at the right time, and Yi Tsang also blushed. But she had a bold temper, and quickly adjusted her mentality, went to the door to get her clothes and put them on, and then saw Luo Sha spreading her fingers to cover her eyes, a little bit speechless. Lord Luo Sha wants to see it, why not let it go? He started to put on his clothes generously. After all, Luo Sha wasn't that thick-skinned. He turned his head and said, I cover my hands because I am moral, and I spread my fingers because I have a true temperament. It has nothing to do with anything else. Who wouldn't want to see such a beautiful beauty in front of her? Nonsense, but surprisingly not hypocritical. Yi-sung quickly put on his clothes. After all, she is a woman. Even a female ninja with a fiery personality likes to be praised. Of course, you must first have the strength of Luosha, otherwise you will end up like a mummy. Lord Luosha, you really want to improve the situation of commoner ninjas, but it's useless to open up compulsory teaching. It's nothing more than having more ninjas who only know basic 3 body skills. Yi-sung knows that he is asking too much, but if you don't change the plight of civilian ninjas unable to practice ninjutsu, those children are no different from going to the battlefield to die. Yi-sung lowered his head a little ashamed. Luosha's frankness made Yi-sung believe that Luosha really wanted to run this compulsory education, but no matter how well he learned in the ninja school, becoming a ninja still needs years of accumulated meritorious service to exchange for the qualification to practice ninjutsu. By the way, Luosha has recruited a large number of teachers among the common people. Is this going to let the teachers teach secretly? Although it is a solution, it is a temporary solution, not a permanent cure. Once it is found out, because of the existence of the ninjutsu copyright, even Luosha, as Kazekage, may not be able to intervene. About this issue. I know this will cause a lot of trouble for Kazekage-sama. You have given every child the opportunity to go to school for free, which is an incomparable favor to civilian ninjas. Yi-sung also knows that he should not say this, but he is still bold. Please ask Lord Raza to authorize ninjutsu to civilian ninjas. Not me. I know it's difficult for Master Fengming to do this. I don't ask for anything else. I just need to grant authorization for the most basic wind and sand arts. Master Fengming and the Sand Clan are related to each other. As long as Lord Luosha asks for it, I believe that the Sand Clan will agree to Lord Luosha's request. It's all said. Yes, Yi-sung knows that his request is too much. If Lord Luosha offends the tribe for nothing, we have no equivalent repayment. If Lord Fengming doesn't dislike it, as long as you do it, Yi-sung, is at your disposal. Stop, can you let me have a word? It was only then that Luosha discovered that Yi-sung was so eloquent. I have already solved the problem you were worried about, okay? Wait a minute, what did you say in the last sentence? Yi-sung's face darkened. Sure enough, it's still not possible. That's right, Luosha disbanded the elder group just when he needed the tribe's support. How could he offend the tribe's authorization to open ninjutsu? The implementation of compulsory education for the common people is an unprecedented feat. I was so happy that I lost my sense of proportion. Lord Luosha has already let civilians be teachers to teach secretly, so he should take his time. He actually tried to seduce Luosha with sex, and didn't even think about it. How could Luosha, as Fengming, lack women by his side, or a woman like himself who was born as a commoner and careless? I really thought that with a good face and a good figure, everyone would be overwhelmed. Anyone will pay more attention to the situation just now. Master Luosha, needless to say, Yi-sung understands that Master Luosha has done enough, and Yi-sung will not cause you any trouble. Covering Yi-sung's mouth with one hand, Luosha had really had enough. Woman, can you please be quiet? Now listen to me. As early as 3 days ago, I have obtained the authorization of the wind and sand escape techniques from the Shalu Patriarch and the Hadao Patriarch. The authorization of magnetic escape, as well as some techniques in the village itself, the ninjutsu practice of commoner ninjas, will no longer be a problem in the future, understand? Next time, can you listen carefully to what someone has to say? I said earlier, these are things that Fengming should worry about. Why are you fighting with me? Yi-sung was dumbfounded. There are wind escape ninjutsu, sand escape ninjutsu, puppet art, magnetic escape, and ninjutsu mastered by the village. These ninjutsu are all open to civilian ninjas. I heard it right. Especially the puppetry technique, which has never been open to civilians. Although it is only elementary, it is still a puppetry technique. There is also magnetic escape, the jutsu practiced by the third generation of Kazekage and Luosha. Although it is difficult, it is also an S-rank ninjutsu of real value. 3 days ago. Now Luosha really had made all the plans long ago, and he actually came to Xingshi to ask the crime recklessly. Yi Tsong was embarrassed and wanted to dig out a hole with his toe to hide in, and what did he say just now? Let him handle it. Master Luosha really made a request. Did he strip off his hands and send it? My brain is really... Master Luosha must look down on me, right? Wrong. Why do you look down on me? What's wrong with me? But Yi Tsong. Okay, Lord Luosha, what time can you do it at your home? This is my first time. Ha, what time? What's the first time? No, I'm asking you when you have time. I'll go to your house and say thank you. Then there's no need, but I just thought about it and really need to ask you something. Luo Sha said seriously. Yi Tsong also recovered from his fantasy, and said seriously, Lord Luo Sha, tell me. Now everyone is mistakenly thinking that I want to fight, so it goes so well, which is actually a good thing. Just like the ninjutsu authorization, I always thought that the Retsu and Gate clans would come to cause trouble, but there was no movement. I think I have the same thought. In this case, Yi Tsong, after you go back, you can let the civilian ninja learn quickly, but don't get lost in chasing advanced ninjutsu. The law should not be passed on lightly. Not opening up ninjutsu is actually protecting civilian ninjas. Tribal ninjas have family education, and some people can't control themselves. Civilian ninjas don't want to learn powerful A-level and S-level ninjutsu, and then they can't even enter the school after a few years. At the same time, mastering two powerful C-level ninjutsu has greater practical significance. I know. Yi Tsong, as an elite jonin, naturally understands this truth. In fact, many people also understand it, but when it comes time to choose, they still can't grasp it. Yi Tsong's role is to supervise them. Similarly, I will also transfer elementary ninjutsu to the ninja school to further create the illusion of war and allow children to master the jutsu that suits them. As for how you can continue to behave at odds with me and confuse the tribe after you go back, I will tell you in a few days, announcing you as the new elder. Then they will think that you have compromised with me for the position of elder, so that you did not stop the compulsory education plan. It's just that you have to be wronged. Compared to what Lord Luo Sha endured, Yi Tsong's grievances are nothing. Now people are immersed in the excitement of being able to go to school for free. Once they calm down, coupled with the rumors in the village, they don't know how they will misunderstand Luo Sha. Luo Sha didn't care. Time will tell everything. After a few months, if there is no war, everything will disappear. At that time, civilian ninjas will become popular, and no matter how much the tribe opposes, it will be powerless. In the final analysis, whether it is a tribe or a commoner, they are all indispensable to Shine Village. I don't want to lose any of them. Take this ninjutsu authorization as an example. The head of Shalu strongly supports it. Borderline ninjas do not distinguish between each other. Only when tribes and civilians unite can a strong and complete Sunagakure village be formed. Yi Tsong had tears in his eyes. It was naive to think that becoming Fengyin could turn the situation around. Looking at Luo Sha's burden, this is the responsibility of a shadow. Yi Tsong must fully cooperate with Master Luo Sha. You have gained the allegiance of Zhuo Dunyetsong, a Zhuanying level master, and the system points have increased by 2,000. End of this chapter. Chapter 44 The Civilian enhabit, #039, S response. Chapter 44 The Civilian's response. Yi Tsong went to find Luo Sha, the two had a fierce battle, and Yi Tsong was defeated and returned. This news keeps spreading in Insha village. The inside story seems to be that Yi Tsong saw through the conspiracy of Luo Sha's compulsory education plan and went to find Luo Sha's troubles. Just take back the order. The result was Yi Tsong's disastrous defeat, and he even changed his clothes when he came out. Knowing that Yi Tsong used all his strength, no one thought it was dirty. Of course there must be some gossip. However, with Yi Tsong's full support for the compulsory education plan, he is about to become the new elder queen of Shine Village. Things just spread differently. The news that the 4th Kazekage intended to start a war, but Yi Tsong failed to stop him and was compromised and bribed, somehow got out. Let the tribes who were still a little bit worried about whether Luo Sha was really engaged in compulsory education completely relieved. They originally objected to Yi Tsang sitting on the position of elder as a commoner, but they were also strongly suppressed by the 4 major tribes. Yi Tsong, who has always been a leader of the common people who has been reticent, has actually started to compromise. This is a good sign. They all expressed their support. With the support of the 4 major tribes, the opinions of other small tribes are meaningless. So although it was not announced, the new members of the elders group are the patriarchs of the 4 major tribes in Yitsong, and Sha Lu will soon be the great elder of Xian village. Shalia's great elder is a matter of course, and everyone expects it. Neither Luo Sha nor Yitsong made any public explanations for this. Immediately afterwards, it was reported that Luo Sha had been authorized to open up ninjutsu. Commoner ninjutsu could use meritorious service to exchange for ninjutsu practice below the intermediate level. It seems that the invisible room is more solid and is preparing for the war. The civilian ninjas became even more uneasy. The 4th Kazekage is about to start a war, and he and his children are about to become cannon fodder. No parent can sit still. Daimon is an ordinary genin in Sunagakure village, and his wife is just an ordinary person. In Daimon's father's generation, he came to Sunagakure village to look for opportunities, and it was not easy to train Daimon into a ninja. However, due to the restrictions of the tribe, Daimon is only a ninjutsu even in middle age, and what he knows is only the basic wind escape ninjutsu and san ninjutsu. There is no room for promotion in the gate, but my child. Did Daimon and his wife have a son and a daughter? Especially her daughter's aptitude is particularly high, just occasionally watching her seal practice and secretly imitating, she has already started. This made Daimon very scared. Once discovered by the tribe, his family would be expelled from the village, and he would also lose his ninja qualifications. But now, Master Luo Sha is about to open up the practice of ninjutsu and no longer restricts teaching it to his children, so he doesn't have to worry about his daughter's wind escape ninjutsu being exposed. But Daimon's wife is not at ease. She is just an ordinary woman. Every time her husband goes out to perform missions, she is already worried enough. Compulsory education is a good thing, but if it is to let her children go to the battlefield, she would rather not have such an opportunity. Gate, what did Lord Yitsong say? Lord Yitsong asked us to trust Lord Luo Sha. Sure enough, it was bought as rumored. Don't talk nonsense, how could Mr. Yitsong be bribed for so many years of dedication? If he really wants to be bribed, he is already the wife of the patriarch of the He clan. De Lang's wife didn't dare to speak anymore, and murmured, but, if the rumors are true, will De Lang and Yazi really want to go to the battlefield? Honey, actually we don't have a choice, right? If it wasn't for being a ninja, why did we come to Xian village? Originally, Dalong and Yazi could only go to school for one person, but now they can go to school with great difficulty. Why did you give up? But fighting is so dangerous. Being a ninja is not dangerous. You will also encounter danger when doing tasks. This may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for ordinary people. We must seize it. Dalong and Yazi, what do you two think? The little boy was still hesitating. The little girl made her choice without hesitation. Father, I want to be a ninja. Having already mastered the Wind-Dun ninjutsu by self-study, Yazi has developed a great curiosity about ninjas, and even regards Yitsong as her idol. Besides, according to the family's financial situation, even if I have talent, my brother will be the one who can go to school in the end. The current compulsory education plan is not my only chance. Dalong followed closely and said, Father, I also want to be a ninja. Flying to the sky and escaping to the earth, if you don't have the qualifications, who wouldn't want to be a ninja? The wife of the gate stopped talking when she saw this. Yes, if you don't fight hard, how can the common people get ahead? The same situation played out in many civilian families. Although they were struggling, no one wanted to give up such an opportunity, and no one gave up in the end. Besides, not everyone can become a ninja. I am struggling here, so let's see if I can become a ninja. Luo Sha was quite happy about the fact that all the registered children had submitted their admission applications. Although he didn't know how many people secretly scolded him, his own system was good, and the achievements he had made would not disappear due to negative effects. No matter how the popularity drops, your points will not be taken back, but the next time you go up again, you have to go back together. Otherwise, Luo Sha would want to score points repeatedly. Luo Sha has been perfecting his speech for the opening of the school these days. There are more than 3,300 ninjas in Sunagakure village. Thinking of this big scene, she is a little excited. Luo Sha was an ordinary person in his previous life and had no relevant experience. Luo Sha almost didn't choose to increase his intelligence. This is reserved for those who plan to upgrade the magnetic escape. Compared with the vortex bloodline that is slowly cultivated by increasing the physique, the instant increase in strength of the full-level magnetic escape can bring a sense of security. What's more, with so many classic quotations from the previous life, I can still master them to some extent, and they can shake the hidden village in the sand. After several days of working on the manuscript, Luo Sha has almost finished it. At this moment, Shadai finally returned to Sha'in village with Xiang Lin's mother and son. Luo Sha originally wanted to take Yashuan to the hospital for treatment, but the moment he saw Xiang Lin's mother and daughter, he extinguished this thought. The woman's dull eyes and bony figure could only see the shape of a person. The young Karen was about the same age as Gara, and was severely malnourished, hiding behind his mother like a big-headed doll. Shatai hurriedly said, "It's none of my business, Mr. Fengying, it was like this when I went, if I were later, this woman would be bitten to death." Not only that, Shatai also bought new clothes for the two of them, and those stinky clothes were really not suitable for seeing Lord Luo Sha. Luo Sha naturally knew how Chaoyin village treated Shanglin's mother and daughter. The majestic vitality of the Uzumaki clan has almost dried up on the body of Kosovo's mother. Although the new clothes cover her arms, there are still dense teeth marks on her face, and there are many on Kosovo's body. No wonder it is said that he would rather be a dog of peace than a person in troubled times. Compared with the 5 great ninja villages, which still have some human rights, the small countries and the little ninja villages are truly troubled times. Mother and daughter are just a microcosm of them. Forget the treatment of Yashuan, anyway, life return is almost at the second level. In this situation, even if Shanglin and her daughter are sent in front of Yashuan, he probably won't be able to talk about it. End of this chapter. Chapter 45 Shangling who was good at sealing technique. Chapter 45 Shangling who was good at sealing technique. Seeing Luo Sha, Shangling's eyes finally regained some light. Raza, the Kazakage of Sand Hidden Village, one of the 5 people who stood at the top of the ninja world, has been heard of even in the land of grass. A few days ago, when a dozen grass ninjas bit him and his life force was about to be completely exhausted, and he was worried that his daughter Shanglan would suffer the same fate as him, 3 sand ninjas fell from the sky, killing all the people who bit them, and kept them. He lost his last bit of vitality. Then they told themselves that it was Fobiing's order to take their mother and daughter to Sha'in village. Xiangling didn't feel relieved. After all, the story of her own physical healing had spread to Sand Hidden, otherwise, what would be worth the Kazakage sending people to travel long distances to bring her mother and daughter from the country of grass to Sand Hidden village? But my overdrawn vitality might disappoint Kazakage-sama. It's just fragrant phosphorus. I hope that Sha'in village, one of the 5 great ninja villages, can have a vision, so that it will not endlessly overdraw its own vitality like Chaoyin village. Physical healing can be restored on its own as long as the loss is controlled to a certain level, but Chaoyin village has never cared about it. Shangling is now so overdrawn that it cannot recover on its own. There is not much life left. And no matter what, being bitten on the body is disgusting. He stood up respectfully and saluted, "Lord Kazakage, my name is Xiangling, and this is my daughter Xiangling. I believe you also know about our mother and daughter's awakening of physical healing. We can serve Sunagakure village. But my words, I may die if I get bitten 20 more times, and I can no longer recover. I hope you can treat my daughter well. As long as she does not bite her more than 10 times a month, she can recover on her own through physical healing." Speaking the facts in a straightforward manner, Shangling knew that he did not have the capital to negotiate terms. But after all, it is Darren village. Shangling did not bet against Luosha's kindness, but put interests first, depending on whether you want to kill the chicken to get the eggs, or keep the water flowing. But any choice has nothing to do with you. Shangling, right? I'm Luo Sha. I think maybe you miscalculated your own value. In Sha'in village, unless you volunteer, I can guarantee that no one will bite you. Of course, I'm not a kind person. The purity of the whirlpool blood of the two of you can be seen to be very high, so apart from physical healing, what else can you give me instead? It's not that Luo Sha is cold-blooded, even if the two of them know nothing, it is cost-effective to only cultivate Xianglin. Although the plot Xianglin is not at the level of the shadow level, it is also the quasi-shadow level, the diamond chain, the physical healing, the Kagura mind eye, the palm fairy technique, and the authentic vortex blood. The distance from the shadow level is also the first line level. If you cultivate yourself from a young age, you may break through. However, this is a troubled time. Facing a person who kidnapped you from thousands of miles away, you go up and tell them that I am a good person, so you can rest assured to follow me. Who believes? It's not like you are a villager of Sunagakure village. I didn't see Xiangling talking about the conditions, but the interests came first, so Luo Sha responded with the same answer. As long as you say that our whirlpool bloodline is worth cultivating, Luo Sha will go down the hill. In addition to physical healing, what we can do? If Master Finkage doesn't dislike it, my level of sealing technique is not bad. Sealing technique? Where? The Uzumaki family is naturally proficient in sealing techniques, but there are many kinds of sealing techniques, such as sealing people, sealing souls, and sealing chakras. I'm better at making seal scrolls, the kind that seal items. Ha? Say it again. What are you good at? I'm good at making sealed scrolls. My mother was in charge of making sealed scrolls in the URL kingdom before, and then taught me this skill. Although I haven't done it for many years, it should still be possible. Making a seal scroll is not a difficult task for the Uzumaki family whose chakras generally have the seal attribute. Are you sure you know how to make a sealing scroll? Luo Sha couldn't help being a little excited. This is truly a talent sent from heaven. The sealing scroll, the omnipotent existence in Naruto, is like the omnipotent capsule in Dragon Ball. Depending on the strength of the scroll maker, one-time and repeated sealing scrolls can be made. This thing can seal everything: mountains, trees, rivers and lakes, food, even tables, chairs and benches, as well as living people. However, people will struggle and can be freed easily. It is generally used to seal corpses. It can be described as a must-have artifact for traveling and home. It is also the most lacking thing in Hidden Sand Village. Even though Hidden Sand Village is a village of the 5 great ninjas, its sealing technique is the weakest. Although it has Shikaku, Shikaku is also good at sealing people and ninjutsu, and is not good at sealing items. Most of the sealed scrolls left now were purchased from the country of Vortex before World War II. Since the demise of Uzumaki country, Konoha village has monopolized the production of seal scrolls. Konoha uses Huan, but the purchase of other ninja villages is very strict. One-time ones are rarely sold, let alone those that can be used repeatedly. After all, it can be called a strategic material. There are a few people in Sand Hidden Village who know how to make seal scrolls, but they are all half-baked, and the ones they make are all one-off, which is time-consuming and labor-intensive. They are offered to each tribe as if they were treasures. Luo Sha didn't take it even if he wanted to borrow it, which made it impossible for him to go out to collect water. How is your seal scroll production level? Xiangling pointed to the paper on the table. Let me make one for you. Luo Sha immediately moved out of the way and let Xiangling make it on the desk. Xiangling casually took a piece of paper, spread it out on the table, picked up a brush and started drawing. Not only Xiangling, but also Xianglin, who made it with his mother, obviously learned a lot. After more than 10 minutes, 2 seal scrolls were made. Xiangling and Xianglin were printed at the same time, and pressed on the paper. The paper uses the center as the point of force, suddenly stretches out, and then rolls into a shaft shape. Xiangling said, due to the problem of materials and chakra, the effect of this seal scroll can only last for about 10 days. If the space is large enough, a room is no problem. Master Luo Sha, I don't know if we, like this, have asked you qualifications valued. Luo Sha's throat trembled. Is it so easy to make a seal scroll? I managed to borrow a seal scroll from Sha Lu 2 days ago to study it. What did Sha Lu say? It took a day and a night for the scroll master to make it, and the effect is only 5 days, and it can hold about 100 liters of water, so go ahead and do it. Is 100 liters enough for me to spend that effort? Xiangling mother and daughter, 15 minutes, room-sized space. Go, tell Maji, and arrange for Umbu to protect Xiangling's mother and daughter 24 hours a day. Come on, go to Cheyenne Village Hospital and tell Cuttlefish to prepare the best nutrient solution for me. Come with me now. I'll take you to the hospital for a good checkup. In Cheyenne Village, I guarantee you the best treatment. Pulling Xianglin nervously hid behind her mother. Luosha showed a kind smile. Little girl, don't be afraid. Look, I'm also red-haired. We are all Uzumaki. Comforting Xianglu, Luosha wanted to destroy Cheyenne Village for a moment. It was a waste of resources. A person who was so proficient in sealing scrolls was almost bitten to death by you. However, Cheyenne Village didn't dare to use Xiangling's talent of sealing technique. They knew they couldn't keep this kind of talent. On the contrary, physical healing can be used by the village. Xiangling could feel Luosha's weak Uzumaki bloodline, but he knew from the color of her hair that it was not pure. Moreover, the country of Uzumaki had been destroyed for many years, and the two of them had never met, so there was no possibility of any kindred spirit. Fortunately, Luosha valued his sealing technique, so he and his daughter should not have a hard time in the future. The spirit that had been struggling to hold on finally couldn't help but relax, and the whole person fainted. Luosha also didn't care to avoid suspicion, picked up Xiangling, let Shatai hold the crying Xianglin, and rushed to the hospital, not even paying attention to the system's prompt information. It was detected that the host contained the mother and daughter of the genius ninja Xiangling who contained the sealing technique, and they made great contributions to the subsequent development of Hidden Sand Village, and the system points increased by 300. Thank you for your follow-up. Recently, many people have voted for monthly tickets. The Taoist priest is very grateful, so I won't repeat them one by one. Recently, there may be too many words, more people who read them, and more divergent opinions. Sometimes after reading the comments, I think too much, which affects the thinking of code words, so the Taoist leader has not been bubbling recently, and he is still honest conceived the code words of the plot. It is the first time to write a book, and there will definitely be problems of one kind or another. Thank you for your tolerance. End of this chapter. Chapter 46. Chapter 46. Today is the second day that Xianglin came to Hidden Sand Village. Everyone is very busy. I heard that a speech will be held at the ninja school in Hidden Sand Village today. The speaker is the uncle I met yesterday. Should not be called uncle, should be called brother, who is obviously very young and handsome. It turned out that the uncle had 3 children. So I have no choice but to call him uncle. But my uncle's youngest son is the same age as me, and a few months older than me. He calls me Gara, and he's also very handsome. The uncle was so nervous that day to send my mother to the hospital, and then gave her a lot of fluids. This place is very different from Cheyenne Village. Although the wind and sand are very strong, the buildings are also large and there are many people. Later, my mother was fine, and we were transferred to an ordinary ward. There was a very beautiful big sister in the ward. No, it was a big brother. She was really beautiful and so gentle. How could she be a boy? The eldest brother is called Yashimaru, and he is the uncle's brother-in-law. After seeing us, he yelled in panic, "Brother-in-law, don't force me to bite them, I can't bite them." Then the uncle knocked on the forehead and told the elder brother to take good care of us. And leave a very important task for my mother. I must learn a skill called Life Return, but my mother is very stupid. I didn't learn it several times, but I learned it after listening to it a few times. This skill is really amazing. It can actually speed up the absorption of food nutrition. I believe that after a while, the uncle will stop calling me a big-headed baby. After I learned it, I taught it to my mother, so that the nutrient solution given by my mother can be doubled. Later in the day, the uncle brought his 3 children to visit us and Yashimaru. The eldest daughter of the uncle is called Tamari. She has blonde hair and is as beautiful as a princess. The younger son is the handsome Gara. What I don't understand is why Gara's older brother Kankuro was so different from Tamari and Gara. With oil paint on his face, he felt very fierce, and he didn't look good. I still love Luo Wenru. Knowing what happened to me, he was even more sad than me, and even cried to comfort me. Such a gentle little brother. I don't know if I can be his bride when I grow up. There is also a tailed beast in Gara's body, called Shoha. Shizuru and Gara have a very good relationship. Although Chakra is very fierce and powerful, they are surprisingly easy to get along with. The main body is a civet cat, so cute, but it's a pity that it doesn't have fluffy fur. I want to come against you. It just seems to have a lot of opinions on me being a descendant of the Uzumaki clan. Obviously my little brother Love Luo is also a descendant of the Whirlpool. Is it because my blood is too pure? But my little brother Love Luo taught Shua immediately. Should I also tell my little brother Gara how to practice the diamond chain, so that he can be more powerful? Later in the evening, Sister Temari took Gara and I to visit the night market in Sunagakure village. Although it was not very busy, it was very warm. Sister Temari said that the next step is to expand the building to make Sand Hidden Village even more lively. I don't understand, but this kind of peaceful time is really good, so I must protect the Hidden Sand Village. On the first day, Shanglin fell asleep in satisfaction like this. The next day, the morning sun shone on Shanglin's face. Gara had already arrived early, and asked Shanglin to go to the ninja school in Cheyenne Village to watch Dad's speech. Shanglin, get up soon. If you don't go for a while, there will be no place to sit. Xiangling rubbed his eyes, and when he saw Gara, his face turned red. I hate it, I haven't washed my face yet, you go out first. Teju covered her mouth and smiled, and the little girl's mind was seen through at a glance. Okay, Gara, you go outside and wait for Shanglin first. Ha? So troublesome? Then Kankuro, whose face was covered, carried it out. Hello, Temari's sister. After greeting Temari, Xianglan rushed to the bathroom, quickly washed up, and put on the new clothes Temari bought for her yesterday. With a long pink dress and a hairpin, Xianglin came out satisfied. My Gara, am I pretty? Aren't they all the same? Straight guy. Gara was puzzled, and hurriedly chased after Karen left angrily. Temari kept holding back a smile, and Kankuro was thinking about why Karen almost cried when he saw him yesterday. This child really has no rules at all. Shangling hesitated to speak. Of course, she could see Shanglin's actions, but her mother and daughter as a pair of refugees from outside were already very proud to be accepted. How could it be possible? Ask for more. However, compared to the cautious Xiang Phosphorus before, Xiang Ling is also very troubled by his return to his natural and carefree nature. Mrs. Xiangling, you think too much. It's hard to say if it was before, but now there are not so many rules in Cheyenne Village. Don't say they are just children. Even if there is such a day, brother-in-law will respect my Love Rose opinion. In the ninja world, people get married young, and it is not uncommon for someone to have feelings for someone at the age of 6 or 7. Then he said more seriously, Mrs. Shanglin, your return of life is still failing. Shanglin has already mastered it. Your body knows it. Brother-in-law gave me a death order. Your talent is not good enough. Lo, you must master return life today. After a day's rest, coupled with the help of life return, although he has been driving for several days in a row, Shanglin's spirit is exceptionally good today. Follow Gara to Sand Hidden Village School. Shanglin was shocked by the majestic campus. Chowing Village couldn't find such a good place. There are many buildings that Shanglin can't name. Such a majestic school, Gara actually told Karen that it was built in a few days. Incredible. Before entering the campus, the inner and outer third floors are already surrounded by people, some are on the trees, some are on the roof. Gara told Shanglin that these are ordinary people. Because the speech is in the school, it cannot accommodate the whole village, and the main targets are ninjas and newly enrolled children. The ninjas of the whole village stood on the playground one by one, and there were more than 3,000 people densely packed. No wonder it is the 5 great ninja villages. There are only more than 300 ninjas in Chowin village. As a result, Gara said that this was not all. There were still more than 5,000 ninjas stationed at the border and in Sunagakure village who had not returned. In front are the students of the ninja school and the parents of the students. Fortunately, I came with Gara, otherwise I really wouldn't be able to get in. There is also a platform on it, and there are many people who look imposing, and I heard Gara say that they are people from a large tribe. The most powerful ones are an old grandma and grandpa. Everyone respects them very much. Xiang Lin thought they were Gara's grandparents, but was told that they were 2 consultants of Sand Hidden Village. It is said that the status is second only to the big man of the uncle. Xiang Lin looked left and right, but he didn't find the uncle, so he sat down with Gara first. After waiting for a while, I finally saw a man who was also very fierce, covering half of his face, and also wearing oil paint, standing on the podium. Gaara told Kaoru that this was the teacher of the 3 siblings, Maki. Everyone be quiet, I will invite the 4th Kazekage-sama, Raza, to give a speech at the beginning of school. End of this chapter. Chapter 47 Unity is Strength. Chapter 47 Unity is Strength. Luosha walked out of the teaching building and slowly walked onto the prepared podium. Bowed in all directions. Sweeping his gaze across the crowd, his Kazekage is still a bit strong. Not a few of the tribes in Hidden Sand Village have come, especially Chio and Ibino. I don't know if it's because of my warning yesterday. It is not in vain to think about the will of the sand that I have thought about for so many days. Applause erupted immediately under Make's instruction. Luosha signaled that it was all right, and stood in front of the microphone. Villagers, ninjas, and elders of Sand Hidden Village welcome you very much. I think you may be wondering why I chose to call everyone on this day when school starts today. The reason is very simple, because the children present today are it is the future of our Hidden Sand Village. The ninja school is the starting point of everyone's dream. 55 years ago, under the hard work of 2 advisors, the first Kazekage-sama Reto and Chi-Dai Ebizo, as well as the chiefs of many tribes, such as the second Kazekage-sama, in the desert a hidden sand village was established in the harshest environment has given birth to the toughest ninjas in Hidden Sand Village. Although our country is the largest, our actual living area is not much larger than some small countries, but our predecessors are not afraid of difficulties and worked hard to bring Hidden Sand Village. It has become the top 5 ninja villages in the ninja world, and until World War II, our Sand Hidden Village had 7 shadow-level powerhouses, and the top 5 ninja villages ranked second. People around, regardless of civilians or tribes, all focused their eyes on Chio and Ibino with great respect. It's a pity that something unexpected happened. The disappearance of Sandai Kazekage made our Shine village go from bad to worse, and we became the last of the 5 great hidden villages. As my teacher, I admit that Sandai Kazekage is powerful, but I also think about it. Why did the disappearance of the teacher lead to the collapse of Shine village? Could it be that the strength of the village depends on only one person? The eyes of the tribe became unfriendly. You Luosha win people's hearts. Are you trying to drag us into the water? The group of elders is also very embarrassed. It would be boring if you always beat corpses. But Luosha did not continue to elaborate on the reasons. I think the main reason is not the disappearance of the teacher, but that our Sunagakure village has lost the spirit of hard work of our ancestors. Today is the day when school starts. I want to ask you, do you still remember why you chose to become ninja? That kid told me. Luosha casually pointed at a commoner's child. The child stood up helplessly, and said nervously, because mom and dad want me to be a ninja, so that I can reduce the burden on the family and get ahead. The child's parents bowed their heads in embarrassment. Luosha pointed to the children of another tribe. Kid, why did you become a ninja? Me, because my parents, grandparents, and grandparents are all ninjas, so I should be a ninja too. Luosha looked sad. Listen, everyone, the answers of the 2 children are correct, but think about why our ancestors chose to be ninjas. When the 5 major countries were established and the world was in dispute, our ancestors wanted to protect the country and the village. That's why I chose to follow the path of ninja. I am ashamed of the 2 children's answers today. Our Shine village has lost the village soul that we fought for. It is not someone else who caused this, but me, Kazekage. It is my incompetence, Kazekage. Chio and Ibino looked at each other. Is there any? The gathering together back then was just for self-protection. Are we so great? I chose to call everyone today because I want to get back our village soul, our original aspiration. Why did we choose to be ninjas? World War I, World War II, and World War III, which one of you here has not shed blood for the village? Maybe you will be ninjas, the reasons are different, but in the process of growing up, they all firmly believe in guarding the village. Without you, there would be no small family for you. This everyone is Sunagakure village, and it deserves our joint protection. We have established one of the most powerful ninja villages in the harshest environment. Hard work is condensed in the blood of each of us. Today we must regain this former belief. Luosha took out a chopstick from her pocket, and gently folded the chopstick in half. He also took out a large handful of chopsticks and broke them vigorously, but only a few of the outer ones were broken, and most of the chopsticks were not damaged at all. Everyone seems to understand but not understand. A person's power is limited, but a group of people's power is unlimited. Each of us is small, including me, and sometimes we can't do what we want, but I have everyone's support. Only our Cheyenne village is united together, we are strong. Luosha raised his hand, and the gold dust gathered. Grains one by one eventually gather into a tall tower. The power of a single sand is insignificant. Countless sands gathered together will form such a strong tower, which firmly guards each of us. Here, I propose the will of sand belonging to our hidden sand village, unite its power. This is the cornerstone of our Sunagakure village spirit. From now on, the assessment of sands will be an important criterion for every student's graduation assessment. Unity is strength, this strength is iron, this strength is steel, harder than iron, stronger than steel, stop all enemies from perishing, and make Cheyenne village prosperous and strong forever. Luosha sang Cheyenne village's version of unity is strength adapted by himself. Everyone present sang along to the catchy melody. Singing is really full of power. Yura, who had been struggling in the crowd, finally made a choice. In the audience, Marky sang loudly and shed tears. On the stage, Yitsang pursed his lips and remained silent, his eyes shining brightly apart from the disdainful Lion clan. Even Chio and Abino opened their cloudy eyes. Why did we become ninjas back then? Seeing that the initial effect has been achieved, Luosha is very satisfied. Over the years, people in the village will recognize Shas will sooner or later. That was the beginning of the prosperity of the village. Everyone be quiet, I still have a few announcements to announce. The first one is that because of the voluntary resignation of the elders, the elder Changjuro was seriously ill, so the remaining positions of the elders are Shalu, Hadao, Liang, and Menbingwai. And Yitsong 5 people are in charge, among them Shalu is the great elder. This news has been spread for several days, and everyone's thoughts are indeed so, and it is indeed what everyone expects, even Yitsong, the tribe did not stop him. 5 people stood up to be cheered. Second news, Grand Elder Shalu agrees that in the future, the low-level permissions for sand manipulation, wind release ninjutsu, and puppetry in Sunagakure village will be open, and all ninjas in Sunagakure village can learn normally. From now on, the assessment system will only the assessment of whether you have the strength to learn ninjutsu will no longer require meritorious service, and it will no longer be prohibited to teach it to your children. If there are outstanding talents, I will directly teach magnetic release. Long live Lord Phonying. Long live Lord Phonying. If the first point has nothing to do with everyone, the second point is the vital interests of many civilian ninjas. The third news is that I will set up a new special ninjutsu research and development department in Cheyenne village. The ninjas in the ninjutsu research and development department are mainly responsible for production and life construction, and will not go to the battlefield, so I will be responsible for the review. People who have special ideas about ninjutsu come to me to report. Everyone, look at the campus right now. It is Fujimori, who is proficient in fixing sand and forming soil. It was built in half a month, which shortened the construction period by a whole. Although many ninjutsu are not suitable for the battlefield, they can greatly improve people's livelihood. You can contribute to the village. The last thing, everyone already knows, Gara let Shikako come out. Gara nodded, came to the stage, and then turned into a crane. You may not know that Shoha was the guardian beast of our Cheyenne village when our Cheyenne village was established. Everyone has been together for so many days, and you should know that Shoha is not a monster. In the future, Shoha will also serve as the guardian beasts of Hidden Sand Village continue to protect us. Shoha waved his hand, that's right, I will continue to protect you. Next time I eat meatballs, give me 2 more skewers. Thanks for the reward, this is the second edition. The first edition was written based on I have a dream and core values of freedom and fairness. It is too red. The author is discouraged. Let's take it easy. Unity is strength and it is more in line with the theme, thank you for your support. End of this chapter. Chapter 48. Chapter 48 Betting with Chiyo. Showa's naive expression made the children in the audience laugh first, followed by the adults, and then it was contagious, and the crowd burst into laughter. Luo Sha is speechless, since Shohei has completely opened his heart. He has gone further and further on the road of being cute. Embarrassed, I love to regain control of my body and trot back down. Okay, let the headmaster Sha too continue to speak for everyone. It was almost time to say. Luo Sha left the podium to the sand, came to the rest platform, and sat next to Chiyo and Ebizo. It was rare for Chiyo and Abino to stop pretending to be asleep. Luo Sha's words really brought back their long and distant memories, and also reminded them of their passion when they were young and frivolous. Fujimori should be the descendant of that Fujika, who gathered sand into earth, and also contributed a lot when Sunagakure village was established. The child who smiled and promised to build Sunagakure village into the strongest fortress. When Sunagakure village was first established, everyone was really united and friendly, and they only wanted to develop the village to the best possible extent. Unity is strength, the unity of civilians and tribes? Speaking of which, I and my younger brother Hai Laozong were also civilians of the Liegi tribe, but Lord Lido at that time, just like Luo Sha in front of me, had no concept of tribes and commoners at all. It is recommended to teach two people ninjutsu. There is also shikaku. When he was a child, he always pestered Lord Raito to take him with him to contribute food to shikaku. The cute raccoon cat shape was also my favorite. If there is no Jinzuriki technique, perhaps shikaku will guard sand-hidden village like today. Unfortunately, the last time I spoke freely with Shuha was decades ago. There is also Samama, who studies shikaku every day, like a fool, shouting at every turn. I have developed ninjutsu to manipulate sand, I have developed ninjutsu to manipulate wind, and the technique to control objects with chakra links, call it puppetry. Come and learn, everyone, and work together to protect Sunagakure village. Monzaemon, you can do it. Making puppet manipulation and controlling puppets are better than Chiyo and Ebizo, two consultants. I can't perfect this technique that can control metal. Kawaii, you are so awesome. You can actually control sand and iron. I'll give you the authorization for magnetic release. His son and daughter-in-law, the stubborn third generation, the runaway scorpion. When was the harmonious and friendly Shine village in my memory lost? Chiyo shook her head. Oops, it's not a good sign to remember the past when I'm old. Luo Sha, this whole thing will make me feel really old. Is it emotion, or a beating of dissatisfaction? My mother-in-law is joking. In fact, the semi-retired life is very enviable. Moreover, due to their achievements, they are the guiding lights of the village at all times. As long as you two are obedient, I will ensure that you are well provided for in your old age. Chiyo laughed, looked at Luo Sha seriously, and suddenly said, Luo Sha, are you really Luo Sha? A hand suddenly grabbed Luo Sha's hand, and chakra probed along the wrist. Grandma Chiyo. Ma Ji suddenly stood up, and Yi Song, who was always paying attention to Luo Sha, stood up. Shalu and Hadao, who found that something was wrong, also stood up. Yura also stepped onto the stage. Here, Squidward, Baizu, Fui, Liang and Menbei stood up, and both sides tit for tat. Over there, Gaara is about to release shikaku. The audience was confused. Alright, you don't need to make such a big gift when you see Chiyo and Ebizo as advisors every day. Give Gaara in the audience a reassuring look. Everyone also understood that at least there was no problem for the time being. They followed the steps given by Luo Sha, saluted and sat down one after another, but their spirits did not relax for a moment. Chiyo's chakra is not aggressive, it's just an investigation, not to mention that even if it is a real attack, Luo Sha is not afraid. Chiyo didn't seem to care that he almost caused a big battle, but just carried out his own investigation, and then withdrew his hand after a while and said, Don't blame Kazakage-sama, it's my old man who went wild. So, Granny Chiyo has the result? What are you worried about? I did have a result, but there's no other way. It's just that Fomi-ing-sama has changed too abruptly these days. Although the manipulation of a shadow-level powerhouse has never happened, I still have to guard against it. Chiyo is very calm. It can be said that he has watched Raza grow up. He has an indecisive personality. Although he was highlighted during the third battle, he was immediately brought back to his original shape. In the past few days, everyone said that Luo Sha was returning to the Third World War. Only Chiyo knew that Luo Sha was cowardly in nature, and yesterday he actually let Cuttlefish threaten him. It feels a little funny, Luo Sha really has such great courage, so what if I gave him the power in the first place? Especially Luo Sha became younger again, and his temperament changed suddenly. Others don't understand the Uzumaki clan, but Chiyo basically understands it. After all, Chiyo's husband is also from Uzumaki. Therefore, Chiyo initially suspected that Luo Sha was fake and had been transformed by someone else using a transformation technique, but it was impossible to tell with ordinary methods. As a result, after careful inspection, it was discovered that it was absolutely original Luo Sha. It seems that maybe I don't know enough about the blood of the whirlpool, or Luo Sha has made some breakthrough. Now that the greatest anxiety in my heart has been resolved, it doesn't matter even if Luo Sha guards against it, the two of them are not in the same group anyway. Luo Sha didn't care. Although he had given an explanation for his sudden change, there were still many people who had questions. The actions of Chiyo and Ebizo today unintentionally proved their innocence. No one should doubt them in the future. Works better than anything. But Chiyo, your knowledge is still lacking. The thing that Kageji is being controlled is happening in Kirigakure. But being randomly probed by Chiyo, it is naturally impossible to pass by so lightly. Chiyo-sama, although you are the village's advisor, in today's situation, if you are probing me like this, I may not be able to get through with just one explanation. Kazekage-sama, do you want me to apologize? As you said, you have watched me grow up, so apologizing is far away. But I think since you two are semi-retired, how about returning some rights to the village? What Chiyo and Ebino possessed were nothing more than medical treatment, puppets, and intelligence. It seemed that Luo Sha was after him, and he blamed himself for sending them to his door. What do you want, tell me? The intelligence department controlled by the two has been drifting away from the village. Information is the first at any time. Only by responding as quickly as possible can the best interests of the village be ensured. Since the two have half retired, why not hand over the intelligence department? It's for the village. It's hard work for Mr. Ebizo to sort out the information every day at his age. He also said he didn't want to start a war. Lido, Hidao, and Menbei thought to themselves that they had all taken over the intelligence department and were obviously preparing for war. What he said just now was full of righteousness and enthusiasm, and his true colors were revealed. Chiyo glanced at Ebino, and Ebino nodded for his sister to make the decision. There is no problem with the intelligence department, but Luo Sha, my blood is boiling with excitement about the old woman you just mentioned. How about this, as long as you do something that is hard work and can defeat nature, how about the intelligence department give it to you? It will be limited to 3 months. 3 months? No, it's too long, let's do this. I promised to the two advisors, Chiyo and Ebizo, that within 10 days, I will turn Sand Hidden Village into an oasis in the desert. If I can't do it, I will resign for 4 generations. The seat of wind and shadow. Why is the name of the 3rd generation called Kawaii? Because the voice actor of the 3rd generation is called this name, so I used it directly. End of this chapter. Chapter 49. Chapter 49. The opening ceremony of Sunagakure village was overall a success. Later generations concluded that the will of the sand that led to the rise of Hidden Sand Village was born in this opening speech. In order to deepen everyone's impression, Ma-ji led his people to work overtime overnight, so eye-catching slogans could be seen everywhere in Sunagakure village the next day. Unity is strength. Man conquers nature. Work hard and don't be afraid of suffering. With the combination of unity is strength and the highly popular unity is strength, many children's belief in becoming ninjas immediately turned into protecting the village. Some children studying in the tribe also told their families that they wanted to study in school. The big tribe hated him so much that just one day later, Shazwell began to influence the tribe subtly. Luo Sha's intentions were hateful, but it was too late to stop him now. Helplessly working overtime to replace the concept of village with the concept of ethnic group. At the same time, the bet between Luo Sha and Chiyo Ebizo also spread. Have you heard that Kazekage-sama said that within 10 days, the Hidden Sand Village will be built into an oasis in the desert? Is it possible? Anyway, I believe Kazekage-sama. Have you ever believed that your children can go to school for free? Not only do they go to school for free, but they can also learn ninjutsu. That's true. Master Luosha has done a lot of good things for the village. This is a good figure for the people. That's right, unity is strength, I sang it once and felt full of power. I will always support Mr. Luosha. I will work hard and contribute to the village. The tribe was not so optimistic about this matter. Shalu even went to find Luosha specifically, so that Luosha shouldn't be so anxious, just kill Chio and Abino, and take back their rights without bloodshed. Luosha smiled and comforted Sha Luanshin, she had plans of her own. I don't have time to spend time with them. Ebizo was alive after the Fourth World War. If Chio hadn't given his life to Gaara, there would be no problem. It is too time-consuming and labor-intensive to build a new intelligence network, and the timeline is uncertain. Luosha needs a strong intelligence department so that he can grasp the intelligence of the world and respond in advance. This one that Ebizo mastered is just right. Moreover, Fui, the person in charge of the intelligence department, Luosha has not forgotten that this person is also a famous faction. After Gaara succeeds Kazekage, it is he who joins Faishi and wants to take away Gaara's tail beast and become Kazekage himself. It's just that I don't know if it's a good thing to hide, or Chio and Abino did it on purpose. So why keep such a time bomb? There is also the Centipede, who is also a villain, and will defect to find the Dragon Vein later, but at least there is no Wohwa village. Chio and Abino are really not good at seeing people. Fui was also flustered, and his years of accomplishment as an intelligence officer could no longer hold back. He followed Chio and Abino to the secluded valley. Master Hai Laozong, is it true that you just sit and watch Luosha take back the intelligence department? These are our eyes and ears. Fui, you have been working on intelligence for so many years for nothing, why are you still so restless? Think about Luosha's words, is it possible to turn Sandine village into an oasis in the desert? Only 10 days. Luosha's thoughts, I probably guessed it, nothing more than using Fujimori's ability to fix the sand around Hidden Sand Village into soil, and then using the ability of the Flower Clan to urge the seeds. Do you think we have never done this before? If it succeeds, now the wind and sand can be blocked. It's not the thick rock wall surrounding the Hidden Sand Village. Luosha underestimated the desert too much. How much can the seeds survive? Do you need to water it? How much water does Cheyenne Village have for him to irrigate? I heard that he has been looking for the person who sealed the scroll. He should be planning to transport water, but there are a few species of Cheyenne, more than half of which are still in our hands, and those reusable seal scrolls are also in my hands, so what are you afraid of? Hai Laozong talked a lot in one breath, feeling a little tired. Consolidating the sand into soil and then planting trees, Sand Hidden Village has done it many times, but they have all failed, otherwise the Fuji clan would not have declined. Fui opened his mouth, but didn't say anything. The situation indeed seemed to be as Ebizo said, but Luosha's recent irrational behavior made him feel faintly uneasy. Or was his true identity discovered by Luosha? No matter what, there will be no help in Ebizo. In that case, this subordinate will leave. Ebizo looked at Fui's back and sighed, it's a pity that he is also a talent. Chio said, unfortunately, it's not our talent. Ebizo said, so, what do you think of Luosha now? Chio said, maybe you can give it a try. Fui left Chio Ebizo's residence with some sadness and looked at the night sky. It seemed that everything started to change from the moment he let Yashimaru assassinate Gaara. The rise of Luosha seems to be advancing with an unstoppable trend. He even suspected that everyone was convinced that Luosha's compulsory education was to prepare for war. But if Luosha really did not start a war in a few months, then the common people and the tribal forces headed by the Lion Men tribes would. What else can you do besides accepting your fate, thinking about walking to the hospital? Fui sighed, and disappeared into the darkness, and after a while, an Umbu came to Jujuro's ward. Why are you here again? The intelligence department is all gone. If I don't come, what's the point of being exposed and not discovered? I've also heard about the bet. Do you think Luosha can make it happen? Everyone says it can't be done, but in my heart I always feel that Luosha can do it. The current Luo Sha never says anything he's not sure about. You want to stop it? How to stop? Assassinate Fujimori. It's tantamount to throwing oneself into a trap. Orange Juro was also silent, touching his chest, the penetrating wound made by Fui. He was even a little lucky that after realizing that he had gone too far, he immediately arranged for Fui to assassinate him. Fui thought that Chengjuro was making a fuss at first, but only Chengjuro knew that Luo Sha was really murderous when he came to see him. It wasn't that he had seen through his plan, but that he was tired of being a fly flying around in front of him. He didn't even consider whether the appropriation for killing his own daimyo would be affected, or Luo Sha hadn't cared about it since the elders' meeting, so Orange Juro adjusted his strategy in time. He didn't know what Luo Sha relied on, but he couldn't afford to gamble. He also didn't understand how Luo Sha could be so different overnight. Orange Juro, you can still wait, but I can't wait anymore. Without the intelligence department, I will be useless. Fui's strength is only an elite jounin, not a quasi-kage level. There is no shortage of such masters in the elder group. The only way he can help the daimyo is to rely on Ebizo's intelligence network all over the ninja world. If he loses it, he will no longer be able to succeed in the hands of Chio and Ebizo. Perhaps the situation is not as you imagined. After all, Luo Sha's compulsory education plan is to prepare for the war. But after the war is over, he will withdraw this plan sooner or later. At that time, he will offend the civilians. Now the open tolerance at that time, it will also offend the tribe. Fui, wait a little longer. Orange Juro, this is what I'm worried about. What if Luo Sha really wants to implement this compulsory education policy? He has expressed it several times, but we don't want to believe that he is so selfless. How is it possible? With an investment of tens of millions a year, he is crazy. But when he thought about it, he broke out in a cold sweat. How much does Luo Sha look like before? Could it be that everyone has been tricked and doesn't know it? So, give me the contact information of that organization. I know you have an organization, Akatsuki, that can hunt shadows. Even if I fail, I can blame Chio and Ebizo. Yesterday, some book friends donated rewards and voted for monthly tickets. I couldn't help but read the comments and found that many people affirmed it. Thank you everyone. End of this chapter. Chapter 50 Magnetic Escape LV10. Chapter 50 Magnetic Escape LV10. The goal of compulsory education was achieved, but Luo Sha didn't care about anything else, not even the bet with Chio. Who said planting a tree has to start from a seed? With Xiangling scroll free, go to the land of fire to borrow some old trees, and then go to the land of Kawawa to borrow some water. The only thing to do is to ask Shikaku to turn over the sand, and then let Fujimori solidify it into land. So older people just can't keep up with the times. With a ready-made intelligence department in vain, the construction of Cheyenne Village will go faster. Thanks to the compulsory education, Luo Sha's system points skyrocketed again. Your speech has been greatly recognized by the ninjas of Sunagakure Village, your prestige has increased, the cohesion of Sunagakure Village has increased, and the system points have increased by 300. The host's recognition in Sand Hidden Village has reached the level of public support, and the system points are increased by 1000. Through the unremitting development of the host, the rating of Sand Hidden Village has been improved from external and internal troubles to thriving. Starting from today, the host can receive bonus points 50 per day. The host is requested to continue to work hard and continue to develop Sand Hidden Village. After the previous accumulation, plus today's harvest, Luo Sha's points have reached more than 13,000 even after deducing wind breathing method and sand breathing method. Not only that, as the rating improves, Luo Sha has the same 50-point guarantee for signing in every day, which is a small 20,000 points a year. How about working hard and continuing to improve? Not bad, with points, it is natural to upgrade. Arriving alone in the desert, Luo Sha chose to upgrade Magnetic Escape to LV9 without hesitation this time. In the case of the Whirlpool bloodline, even if you increase it, the increase is the upper limit, it will not instantly increase your strength, you still need to exercise or add points. Luo Sha's upper limit for the last increase has not been cultivated yet. The same goes for getting younger. There is not much difference between a 25-year-old and an 18-year-old. At most, if the strength or speed is improved, there will be no qualitative change. Adding points to a single item is even more worth the candle. Only magnetic escape. Luo Sha is ninjutsu 10, a ninjutsu type ninja. Improving magnetic escape can definitely increase a wave of strength severely. The host consumes 10,000 points, and the magnetic escape sandgold is increased from LV9 to LV10. With the upgrade of the magnetic escape sandgold, Luo Sha felt an enlightenment of power. If it is said that in the previous LV9 gold placer, Luo Sha's mastery is a large-scale lethal force, which is the top combat power of PvE, then after upgrading to 10, the PvP ability that Luo Sha once gave up has been supplemented. The reason why the 3 generations of Kazekage were called the strongest was because they were able to fight alone against the magnetic Sand Iron Point. The speed and lethality of the Sand Iron Point were cultivated to the extreme. Now Luo Sha has also mastered this ability, making up for the blind spots of the previous gold placer's slow speed and low lethality. The speed of control is at least half faster than before. Luo Sha had a thought, and countless gold dust swords appeared all over his body, and then rustled into the desert, blowing out a big hole, and the gold dust version of the 10,000 swords returned to their ancestors, which is simply not too handsome. Sure enough, improving magnetic escape is the right thing to do. After all, ordinary people's practice of magnetic escape has its limits. It is either a large-scale PvE like Luo Sha, or a PvP with extreme combat power like the 3rd Kazekage. Now with the help of the system, both of them have been completed. Once anyone thinks that he is familiar with Luo Sha's fighting style and uses the strong to fight, Luo Sha will definitely give him a big surprise. Not only that, after Luo Sha's magnetic escape gold reached level 10, it also gained a new feature, turning stones into gold. In the past, when Luo Sha went on a mission, he had to bring a seal scroll to store gold, but now there is no need. As long as he uses chakra to assimilate, he can assimilate all objects into gold. The assimilation time is based on the amount of chakra input. A bit similar to the awakening of the devil fruit in One Piece. So Luo Sha felt itchy again, her strength was always improving, and she had no opponent, so lonely. After improving magnetic release, Luo Sha discovered a new situation, that is, forbearance 10, is not the limit. The upper limit of the host's body is not enough to continue to improve, so first upgrade the Whirlpool bloodline to excellence. He also needs to improve his bloodline. His current Uzumaki bloodline is rare, and the next stage will be normal. After normal, he will be outstanding. The road is long and long. But the strength is enough for the time being. But it's really a ninja world that talks about blood. The body of an ordinary person is the limit of 10. Without the power of blood, it is impossible to break the limit. Luo Sha knew from the very beginning that 10 was not the end. 10 is just the limit value in the formula book. I believe that if Senju Hashirama and Uchiha class are recorded in the formula book, all abilities must be 10. But their 10 is because the formula book limit is only 10. Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Itachi Uchiha are all ninja 10. Are their ninjutsu levels the same? As long as you reach the extreme in a certain field, it will be a 10, but there are also high and low levels among 10. My previous idea of just trying to get all my abilities to 10 was naive. It's okay, it seems to be more challenging. This ninja world is far more exciting than I thought. Keep accumulating points to improve the Uzumaki bloodline. After stopping the test and returning to the village, Ma Ji, Yu Liang, and Yi Tsong were all waiting in the office, waiting for Luo Sha's further instructions. Luo Sha looked at Yu Liang with satisfaction. I figured it out. Yura said solemnly, yes, this subordinate has figured it out. If Kazekage-sama is worried, he can also apply subconscious manipulation to me to completely seal the memory of Scorpion-sama. Luo Sha waved her hand. I said that if I believe you, I will believe you. You also expressed your loyalty just now. Just after Ma Ji shouted, Yu Liang stood on Luo Sha's side for the first time, and it was not like Luo Sha didn't see it. My subordinates will do their best for Lord Luo Sha and devote themselves wholeheartedly. I really need you, otherwise I'm afraid that Maki will die from overwork. Maki was very moved. Don't worry, Lord Luo Sha, I will be able to upgrade to level 3 soon after my life is restored. You don't have to worry about your subordinate's health. Luo Sha was speechless and ignored Ma Ji, a fanatic, and said to Yi Tsong, you don't have any pressure on the civilian side. It's better than you think. In fact, no matter what your original intention is, there is no civilian who doesn't want to become a ninja, even if it means death. What's more, what you gave them was not death. Instead, they thought it was me who paid something to give them this chance. After this opportunity to learn ninjutsu, I must clarify with them that this is all due to your wisdom, Lord Luo Sha. Yi-san, can you please stop your eyes? I'm afraid I can't control it. Don't affect my speed of drawing the knife. Ma Ji and Yu Liang nodded secretly. If Master Luo Sha and Yi-san were married, then the civilians would not have to worry about it at all. Ma Ji was even more amazed that in a fight, Yi-san, the female tyrannosaur in Cheyenne village, took the initiative. Who has she ever been so kind to? Thinking about being beaten up by her before, I can only say that Kazekage-sama is really attractive. That's good. Tomorrow, I will bring Shikaku to dig up the land around Hidden Sand Village. Fujimori will start the preliminary work of fixing the sand and forming soil. Shangling said that it will take 3 days to make the seal scroll, and then I will go to the surrounding area in person. The country transfers trees and water sources. This success will not only solve the decades-old environmental problems in Insha village, but also allow the common people to achieve freedom of water. Luo Sha had already told several people about the tree planting plan. Master Kazekage, in fact, we can send someone to collect water sources and trees. There is really no need for you to go in person. When it comes to the ownership of the intelligence department, you can't be careless. If you go there, the efficiency will be too slow. Once Chio and Lai Aizu find out, there is no guarantee that it will not be destroyed. I will leave the placer gold clone to assist you. After I leave, Yi-san will be in trouble. You protect Shangling and her daughter, while Ma Ji and Yura send people to take care of Fujimori's safety, and tell the public that I went to buy seeds. Yes. X3. End of this chapter. Chapter 51 The Coming Orochimaru. Chapter 51 The Coming Orochimaru. Raza took Gaara's incarnation Shikaku to plow the land outside Sunagakure village for 3 days, then left the Sand Gold incarnation to process the documents, and then left with the seal scroll, saying that he was looking for suitable seeds. Fu Yi, who had been waiting for the opportunity, was suddenly overjoyed. He had never thought that he could ambush Luo Sha within the scope of Sand Hidden Village. How could he not seize the opportunity that came from heaven now? Shortly after Luo Sha left, he went to Shaozai Wind Country. Secret contact point. Luo Sha went directly to the Land of Fire. There were no places with more forests than the Land of Fire. When passing through the land of Sichuan, he took them directly to places with lakes and water sources. As for being discovered, how could a shadow-level fetching water be discovered? As a result, there have been successive cases of lake disappearances in the country of Sichuan between the country of wind and the country of fire. Although I had doubts about whether it was the Kingdom of Wind, according to the past practice of the Kingdom of Wind and the reserve of seal scrolls, one was already the limit. How could several lakes be stolen in a row? As the living water from the source continued to irrigate and fill up, this matter finally came to nothing. At the same time, Raza launched a compulsory education plan and the content of the opening speech quickly spread throughout the ninja world. Yunin village said that the country is too far away from the wind country and it is unrealistic for you to sneak attack on me, so don't worry about it. Kirigakure said, if you want to beat me, build the ship first. Iwagakure village and Konoha village are really tense. The two countries and the Kingdom of Wind have been recently. If Raza really plans to start a war, it must be one of the two countries. Konoha village, Hokage building. Hiruzen Sarutobi frowned slightly as he looked at the information sent back by the spy. The Will of Sand, such a familiar word. Before you use Luo Sha, did you pay us the patent fee? I really didn't expect that indecisive Luo Sha would actually learn to gather people's hearts together. Sarutobi is familiar with this set. After decades, how he is known as the strongest Hokage is not because of publicity. Who still remembers the first generation with devastating fighting power and the second generation with his ridiculously strong teacher? Who remembers that Konoha was founded by Senju and Uchiha? The people of Konoha only remember the strongest Hokage, the third generation of shinobi, who was known as the Professor. If a war is really launched against Luosha, then relying on prestige and developing for a few more years, Shine Village may really change drastically. What do you think are the chances of Sunagakure attacking us? As long as Raza isn't out of his mind and won't take the initiative to attack us, Sarutobi, are you too sensitive? What should we worry about? There are 2 or 3 big cats and kittens. Danzo retorted disdainfully. In his opinion, Saiyan was not worthy of Konoha as an opponent at all. We shouldn't underestimate any opponent. Luo Sha in the desert is almost invincible. Although Chio and Abino are old, their strength has not declined much after the transformation of puppetry. Now, Konoha has left Sannin and Bai Feng committed suicide. With the death of the 4th generation, Uchiha will be in chaos, otherwise why bother to swallow his anger and sign a peace treaty with Yunin? You also said that Raza is invincible in the desert. If he takes the initiative, he will just repeat the defeat of Platycodon Castle. Even if the top combat power is not weak, you don't know the level of the upper, middle and genin of Sunagakure, not to mention the original. It was an alliance they formed on their own initiative. How dare they do this repeatedly in just a few years? Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed. He didn't think Raza would attack Konoha now, so the chance of returning to Awagakure was high. What I am worried about is Luosha's compulsory education policy. You have also seen the will of the sand proposed by him. After a few years, I am afraid that the Shine village will really unite. A strong Shine village does not meet our goals. Benefit. Also present were Zhuanju Xiaochun and Maida Manyan, all of whom were old foxes. Naturally, everyone can see that the follow-up power of this will of sand is infinite. After all, it is only left over from a few people. It's just that the will of the stone was learned by Yenin village before, and you also learned it in Shine village, obviously better than Yenin village. Maidaman asked, we also carry out? Zhuanju Xiaochun objected, the investment of tens of millions a year is enough to train 3 jounin. Danzo said, so it's just a gimmick to start a war. Next, let the ninjas on the border of Kawa no Kuni take precautions. Sunagakure, monkey, you don't have to worry about us holding this meeting. Since you are so worried, I will send infiltrated by people. Sarutobi Hizen was silent. Ninja Village is fundamentally a military fortress of the country. Although it also has mission income, most of it still depends on financial appropriation. With this money to increase national defense, engage in scientific research, give subsidies to ninjas, and replace equipment, there is not much left at all. Konoha is still one of the few ninja villages with a relatively large workload, and can earn tens of millions a year, but they dare not engage in compulsory education without the support of daimyo. Where does Luo Sha have the confidence? If it really stops after a few months, the opposition at that time will be enough to make him step down, or cut other expenses, and the border ninjas will also force him to go to the palace. Can't figure it out. Compared with Konoha, Yenin village is really all soldiers. Hidden Rock village is now at its weakest. The cost of attacking Konoha and killing the 3rd generation of Reikage is that Hidden Rock village's troops have shrunk by 2/3. Even with the support of the daimyo, Iwayne has not slowed down after years of desperately sending children from all over the country for training. The training of ninjas does not happen overnight. Moreover, the 4-tailed Jinchuriki Lao Zi left the village, leaving only the 5-tailed man, and the advantage of the tailed beasts was gone. Anoki said in pain, what is this Luo Sha thinking? Haven't fought enough in the 3rd war? Now we are mobilizing for war. Huang Tu said, what are you afraid of? It will be difficult for us, just like Sunagakure village. I really think we are soft persimmons. Anoki said, I'm afraid that Kumobakure will take advantage of the situation and rob it. Shidu and Fuga, you two, go to the southern border to test the waters and tell Sunagakure that we are not afraid of war. Yes. X2. The 2 lead. 2 quasi-shadow levels are no guarantee of infallibility. Kuratsuchi, let's go and see Deidara. Just as Luo Sha guessed, the 5 major countries now have no ability to start a war. In a cave somewhere in the ninja world, a heretic demon statue is held up with both hands, and the fingers show 0, blue, white, vermilion, black, empty, south, north, 3, and jade in order. Pain's shadow appeared on Zero. Someone has offered to buy Luosha's head. Who is interested? It's a lot. The scorpion on Jade said calmly, it's not convenient for me to show up for this matter. Jiadu on the north said, go to Shine Village to kill Luosha. Do you think highly of us, or look down on Luosha? At least 3 people are needed, or do you want to expose Akatsuki's strength now? Xiaonan on Bai said, according to the news, Luosha has left the land of wind and is at the border between the land of river and the land of fire. Kakuza shook his head, it's a pity that it's too far, otherwise I could go and try. Orochimaru on the Kong stretched out his long tongue and said, in that case, then I will go, as a gift for me to join Akatsuki. End of this chapter. Chapter 52. Chapter 52. Choose a relatively secluded border and control the landfall of gold dust. Looking at the endless forest, Luosha is so envious. A full man doesn't know that a hungry man is hungry. Look at Konoha, there is a large forest just after crossing the border, at least thousands of hectares, which is a waste of resources. Moreover, as soon as you enter the country of fire, you will feel the gentle breeze, which is completely different from the yellow sand in the sky of the country of wind. If that's the case, I won't be polite. Luosha activated Touchstone into gold, instantly turning the ground into gold, and then controlled the gold placer to arch the roots of the trees, mainly not to damage the roots. The seal scroll made by Shangling this time has a large space, and it is sealed in batches of 100 pieces. Time is still in the space where the scroll is sealed, so there is no need to worry about the trees dying. Let others do it. How can others have the efficiency of their own? Turning stone into gold is simply a magical skill. Harvesting the forest with great interest, he became bald in a short while, and was discovered by Orochimaru. After receiving the news, Orochimaru came to the border of the land of fire. It felt a bit strange to suddenly return to his homeland. You said Minato, what are you arguing with me about? I still have the confidence to compete with those old guys when I get the upper hand. What else do you have besides being a puppet and a good reputation? As a result, he died so early. Of course, if I wasn't so capable, I might be able to become Hokage. But it's all in the past, and now I don't care about the position of Hokage. What I am pursuing now is eternal truth. After landing on the ground and sensing the activation of the ninjutsu, he soon discovered the traces of Luosha in the large area of bare land. Are you a Kazekage from Sand Hidden Village, coming to the land of fire to steal trees? What's happening here? He fought against Luosha many times during the Third War, and Orochimaru thinks he still understands Luosha's strength. A hand with gold dust entwined with sand, releasing ninjutsu is indeed very powerful, and is most suitable for group combat. However, the single-player combat is a bit inferior. The power and intensity of the technique are a bit inferior to a shadow-level powerhouse. It pursues group destruction too much. Of course, if in the desert, with the bonus of sand, Orochimaru would consider himself to be worse than Raza. But now, leaving the desert and still staying in the forest of Konoha is simply not in my favor. Wind escape, the technique of wind cutting. The 4 wind blades rolled up and cut towards Luosha from behind. Oops, 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 Luosha's neck, shoulder blades, abdomen, and leg sockets were cut into 4 pieces, but then white smoke flashed and turned into 4 pieces of wood. Luosha's golden sword flies into the air, fulfilling his dream of being a sword fairy. A golden eye floats above the head. Luosha is not stupid, he came to the kingdom of fire to steal trees. How could he not be prepared? He has already sensed the surroundings with his eyes of gold dust. As soon as Orochimaru appeared, he felt a powerful chakra, but he didn't expect it to be Orochimaru. A black cloak with rusty red clouds and a wind chime hat. Ashimaru? Have you joined Akatsuki yet? Interesting, so Akatsuki is going to attack me? Orochimaru stuck out his tongue and smiled confidently. Of course he knew that it was impossible to kill Raza with a simple wind escape, but outside the desert, he was confident that Raza was no match. It's just using people's money to eliminate disasters. That's right. The Akatsuki organization is a mercenary organization. Someone is paying for my life? But Orochimaru, you are so confident. You are also a Kage level. Even if I can beat you, can't I run away? That depends on you being able to run. As soon as he finished speaking, Orochimaru's 4 men flashed in 4 directions, quickly formed seals, and a purple cube barrier appeared. 4 purple flame formation. How could you not be prepared to surround and kill a shadow-level person? Luosha took a look, and found that the 4 little Inin were still too young, and they were formed by unknown accomplices. Luosha was not panicked. The 4 purple flame formation was well formed, and he didn't want to run away. He was afraid that Orochimaru would run away. Is it easy find a suitable opponent like Orochimaru? In Sunagakure village, Luosa was almost going crazy because she didn't have an opponent who would understand the pain. Now that Orochimaru has delivered it to your door, don't blame me. Ashimaru, it's true that I hope you don't run away for a while. Oh, then I want to see what the 4th Kazekage is capable of. The enchantment unfolded, and the 4 purple flame formations were so conspicuous, Orochimaru didn't want to waste time. This is the national border, and the patrolling ninjas will soon find out the abnormality. After forming a psychic seal, a coffin slowly rose. Luosha originally wanted to manipulate the gold dust to stop it, but when he saw the word 3 on the coffin, he stopped. It's not just 1 and 2. His current strength is not weak even against the 4th generation. In fact, 2 can also compete. Orochimaru himself is really afraid that he won't be able to fight. And if you say 3, you can tell who Orochimaru summoned with just your toes. The coffin was opened, revealing the figure inside, the white Kazekage cloak and dark blue lining. It was the 3 generations of Kazekage who were missing from Sand Hidden Village. You don't seem surprised at all? Orochimaru is confused. This is the 3rd Kazekage, the person you have been looking for more than 10 years. He took out a kunai with a command spell written on it, and stuffed it into the back of the 3rd Kazekage's head. What's the surprise? I have long suspected that you Konoha did it, and now it seems that it is so. The 3rd generation is known as the strongest Kazekage, and the magnetic escape restrains the puppet technique. Even with poison, Luosha does not believe that the scorpion back then can kill the 3rd Kazekage. Just like now, even if Chiyo poisons herself, she is sure that it will be Chiyo who dies. So for what happened back then, Scorpion must have a helper, and Konoha is the most likely to count. Otherwise, how to explain how the rest of Sandai Kazekage's body got into Orochimaru's hands, and using this as evidence to summon the 3 generations of Kazekage, it is impossible for Scorpion to sell it to Orochimaru. It seems so now. Konoha. The cracks on the body of Sandai Kazekage who was put into kunai gradually recovered, and the whole person seemed to be alive, except for the black pupils that symbolize death. After regaining his subconscious, he was still not completely under control. He was stunned for a moment when he saw Luosha, and immediately recognized him. You are Luosha? The dusty memory came back to life. The kid who had part of the whirlpool's blood was trained by him as his next successor, who also learned magnetic escape like himself, and was asked to master gold dust as an apprentice. Just this face. Could it be that it was only a few years before his death? It's now Sunagakure's 40th year. Has the daimyo been replaced? How is the village? Raza sighed and said, the 3rd Kazekage. Teacher, I really didn't expect to meet you in this form. It has been 55 years since Sunagakure, and the daimyo is still the same person, and I am now the 4th Kazekage. Thanks to your favor, the village is in very bad shape. How come? By the way, Luosha, be careful. Before the words were spoken, Orochimaru had already formed a seal to seal the mind of the 3rd Kazekage. Unfortunately, today is not the day to reminisce about the old days for you master and apprentice. Sand and iron floated all over Sandai Kazekage's body. Gold dust floated all over Luosha's body. It rains when iron sand. Golden dust rain. After many years, the magnetism of master and apprentice collided again. End of this chapter. Chapter 53. You Konoha want to give me an account. Chapter 53. You Konoha have to give me an explanation. Countless iron needles and gold needles collided. The harder iron should have had the upper hand, but it turned out to be a close fight. There is no absolute. Gold is not hard enough, then increase the density of gold. When the density is enough, the hardness will naturally increase. In addition, if you look carefully, you can find that the speed of sand gold controlled by Luo Sha is much faster than that of the third generation sand iron. The resulting impact is naturally stronger. After a stalemate for a few seconds, placer gold gradually gained the upper hand. Dozens of golden needles passed through the body of Sandai Kazekage, tying it into a pile of fragments, but the fragments condensed again the next moment. But it was clear that Raza won the duel with Shigure. Orochimaru doesn't understand. Is the person in front of him still the Raza who was only proficient in large-scale combat? When did placer gold become so powerful? The third Kazekage, as the strongest Kazekage, actually failed in single target control. It lost to placer gold, which is not as hard as sand iron. No wonder he is so confident. Luo Sha has improved again. But this is the wilderness, and I have prepared enough sand iron for the third generation. I wonder if Luo Sha's sand gold is enough. I won't give you the time to get the scroll and take out the placer gold. 3 generations of Kazekage combined seals, and a large amount of sand and iron converged into a terrifying cube of sand and iron, which was huge and cold. Magnetic escape, sand and iron attack. Orochimaru opened his mouth, and a snake head protruded from it, spitting out the Kusanagi sword. With so much sand and iron, you don't have gold dust around Luo Sha. As long as you take the scroll, I will sneak attack. However, what surprised Orochimaru was that when Luo Sha stepped on the ground with both feet, the ground rippled and turned into gold dust in an instant. Dazzled yourself, or was Luo Sha already prepared to bury gold under his feet? After a while, a similar placer gold cube gathered above Luo Sha's head. Magnetic escape, placer gold strikes. Boom, the sand iron cube and the sand gold cube collided, each shattered in half, and then quickly reassembled into a cylinder, hitting each other, and the sound of banging and banging made people's ears numb. Iron filings and gold filings were flying all over the sky. Seeing that the third Kazekage could not attack for a long time, Orochimaru became anxious. His purpose was to kill Luo Sha. The Sazean formation exposed the location where the two fought. Konoha's garrison ninjas will come after a while, and something will inevitably happen. Unexpected change. In addition, Luo Sha's strength is definitely not under the heyday of the 3 generations of Fomying, and it may not be easy for him to win. But now the art of reincarnation in the Dirty Land is not yet perfect, and controlling a 3rd generation Kazekage is already the limit. Otherwise, why would it be so troublesome to summon a 2nd generation one? If I had known that I would not have summoned the 3rd Kazekage just now, I would have summoned one of the 1st and 2nd generations. The situation in front of me had no choice but to take action myself. He flew up, stretched his arms suddenly, and slashed at Luo Sha with the grass pheasant sword. Magnetic escape, golden sand waves. The ground at the soles of his feet turned into gold dust again, violently wrapping Orochimaru in midair, and then tightly binding him. Blood seeping out, Orochimaru fell to the ground, opened his mouth, and a new Orochimaru crawled out covered in saliva. This time, Orochimaru really saw clearly that Luo Sha's placer gold was generated out of thin air. How is this going? Outside the barrier, several ninjas wearing Konoha forehead protectors rushed over. When they saw it was Konoha's secret technique, the 4 purple flame formation, they thought they were one of their own. Then they found out that the people inside were fighting Orochimaru, Raza and the 3rd Kazekage who controls sand iron? What's going on? Wasn't the 3rd Kazekage missing for more than 10 years? How did it appear here? He also got into a fight with the 4th Kazekage. Was it a civil war in Sunagakure village? What happened to the traitor Orochimaru? Immediately afterwards, they realized that something was wrong. The state of the 3rd Kazekage was the reincarnation of the dirt. The status and knowledge of the ninjas leading the team are not low. Orochimaru has defiled the 3rd Kazekage, so the matter may not be easy to solve. Raza and Orochimaru also discovered the Konoha ninja outside. Orochimaru shook his head and said with some displeasure, "It's a pity, some little bugs came. I'm afraid there will be no results today." In a Kage-level fight, you can tell whether it is a war of attrition or a quick battle as soon as you touch it. Orochimaru is targeting the former Luo Sha, but now he is not prepared enough. The combination of Sandai Kazekage and himself is not sure to kill Luo Sha. There is already a retreat in my heart. Luo Sha also saw it and became anxious. I haven't had enough fun yet. The fight with the third generation was more of a test to see how strong the sand iron of the former number 1 magnetic escape was. It was only after fighting that I discovered that level 10 magnetic escape is really powerful. Even if it lacks hardness, it can still compete with it by increasing its density. If the upper limit of the density of level 9 placer gold is 10, the density of level 10 placer gold can reach 100. Rising exponentially. Coupled with speed, it completely suppressed the Sand Iron Ninja Sandai who was proficient in single combat. It is a pity that the third Kazekage now fights instinctively under the control of Orochimaru and does not have the fighting consciousness he had during his lifetime, otherwise Raza could have fought more happily. Now Orochimaru misses a single hit and prepares to evacuate. After finally finding it, how could Luosha let him go? Magnetic escape, gold dust waves. Magnetic escape, placer gold world law. The ground under his feet turned into gold dust and swelled violently, rolling round and round like waves, turning the entire four purple flame formation into a sea of gold dust. In the sky, placer gold turned into golden thorns, randomly interlaced and densely packed throughout the space. Orochimaru quickly hid behind Sandai Kazekage. Magnetic escape, the law of the sand and iron world. A small space of sand and iron thorns swirled around Sandai Kazekage, trying to protect the two of them. But as soon as the iron thorn and the gold thorn were exchanged, the iron thorn was broken by the gold thorn, and the third generation of Kazekage was also pierced through the chest by placer gold. Orochimaru jumped back again and slapped the ground with one hand. Triple Rashomon. 3 Rashomons rose in front of Orochimaru, the golden thorns shattered in front of the gate, and the wave of gold dust was blocked by the gate, which blocked the gold dust's offensive. After getting a chance to breathe, Orochimaru no longer wants to fight, and if he continues to fight, he may have to fold here. The subordinates were ordered to disperse the 4 purple flame formations and flee separately. Orochimaru summoned a big snake to attack Luosha with psychic art, and then evacuated by himself. Luosha didn't go after it, but looked at the attacking big snake, raised his hand, a dozen golden giant swords condensed in the sky, and as Luosha's hand fell, the giant snake was cut into more than a dozen pieces. Luosha inspected himself, and found that less than 1/3 of the chakra was consumed, which was meaningless. The current self should belong to the top group in the movie class. And the ultimate skill after the 10th level of magnetic escape has not been used yet. Lonely. On the battlefield, only the 3 generations of Kazekage who were forked into hedgehogs by the Dust Gold realm were left, and they were still trying to reorganize. Raza came to the 3rd Kazekage. Because Orochimaru was far away, the art of dirty soil was about to be solved, and the 3rd Kazekage regained his independent consciousness again. Smiling at Luosha, "Luosha, you are better than me, very good, I can rest assured that Sha'in village is handed over to you." Luosha had mixed feelings. The two were called masters and apprentices, but in fact they used more elements, but when people are about to die, it's no fun to turn over old scores. Besides, Sitten was taught by 3 generations of real teachers. You can rest assured that the village is in my hands. You are also a teacher, do you want me to avenge you? You do know something, forget it, if you can, listen to Chio and Ebizo's opinions. The art of dirty soil dissipated, and intermittently for 3 generations, it gradually broke into pieces, revealing the unknown corpse inside. Several Konoha ninjas landed. 4th Kazekage-sama, I don't know what's going on here. What's going on? Our 3rd Kazekage-sama was reincarnated by Orochimaru of Konoha. You ask me what's going on? Konoha must give me an explanation for this matter in Sunagakure. End of this chapter. Chapter 54. Chapter 54. Yes, the book is on the shelves. I very much hope that book friends can support it. At 10:30, I was coding, and QQ rang. Editor, you can put it on the shelves today. Looking at my 3,600 collection, I have no confidence. I went to the author group to ask, and everyone expressed their condolences. The collection and number of words in the fandom indicate that the popularity and reading are quite average. Looking at the new book list, the 10-word Naruto-themed book has exceeded collections. The editor let me put it on the shelf to encourage me. The book opened with 4 words and was picked up by the editor Chinghu from the big pond. It was only published with 11 words. Thanks to the editor Chinghu for her trust. When a newcomer writes a book, he knows there are shortcomings, so he never writes to pursue reading and votes. It's about the unpopular Cheyenne village, which was complained about by others, but there is no plot in the unique setting of Cheyenne village. I am the protagonist of Luo Sha, so I can't come up and surrender to Konoha directly. Maybe I can write like this next time. Forget it, don't sell it badly. As for myself, I was writing part-time, and was suddenly asked to put it on the shelf, and the saved manuscript was also abolished in the last revision of the outline. I knew it would be published so early today. There are still 6,000 words left in the manuscript. I will update 6,000 first before putting it on the shelf, and then work hard to code it. I can't do it for 6,000 yuan per day at the moment, so I'll give it a try. Once it's put on the shelves, I have to have the attitude to put it on the shelves. Let's guarantee a minimum of per day. The listing is really sudden, otherwise I'll work hard to save the manuscript. 3600 collection, I hope everyone can support it, and I didn't dare to expect too high an initial order, 300? If it exceeds 300, I try to add a chapter every 100, but I haven't saved the manuscript, so I can only make up for it. Thank you all, and please support us a lot. End of this chapter. Chapter 55. You have to show off my muscles before you can talk about it? 4,000 word chapters for that. Chapter 55. You have to show off your muscles to speak well? 4,000 word chapters. Request first order. The Kazekage was attacked and killed by the rebel ninja Orochimaru at the border. During this period, the third generation of Kazekage was reincarnated in the Dirty Land. The fourth generation of Kazekage made a fuss at the border stronghold, demanding an explanation. Sarutobi Hiruzen, Danzo, and the escort were walking through the dense forest, less than an hour away from the national border. Ever since I received a message from the ninjas stationed at the border yesterday, and after discussing with Koharu and Mito Kaden, I have prepared to come to see Raza in person. After all, the qualifications of others are lower. Mainly involves troublesome reincarnation. This technique is taboo by all ninja villages. Unexpectedly, Danzo also rushed over halfway and insisted on going with him. Danzo had never been so kind. Hiruzuru Sarutobi understood after thinking about it, and confirmed, the death of Sandai Kazekage has something to do with you? Danzo did not deny, it was such a good opportunity at the beginning, and there were people acting as internal agents. The third Kazekage was so radical and was about to unify the Kingdom of Wind. Should we just sit back and watch the Kingdom of Wind rise for the second time? Orochimaru and I did it together. Hiruzuru Sarutobi smiled wryly. Did Danzo do something wrong? None, even meritorious. What he said is correct, the radical ideas of the third generation of Kazekage, and the resentment of being cheated by Konoha in the Second Ninja World War. If the change of name is really successful and vigorous development is made, I am afraid that the ending of Kikyo Mountain will change. It's just that, as Hokage, I didn't know anything about such a big matter. Was it really good to let Danzo open up the route back then? And Orochimaru, did you get entangled with Danzo so early? Danzo continued, I am the darkness of Konoha, Hiruzen, you are the light of Konoha. There are many things that light cannot illuminate, and there is no need to know. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed, was he really just pure light? Even if you don't know many things, you are still acquiescing to them. Time has changed too much. Going back to those days, could I still choose to break up the family for everyone without hesitation? Not long after, I arrived at the border garrison. After understanding the situation again, I was led to the room where Luo Sha was temporarily staying. Luo Sha was lying on the bed watching TV. There were melon seeds, peanuts, and other snacks beside her, and she was still enjoying the content on TV. Master Foamying is so elegant. Luo Sha is waiting for an explanation, and he is not a prisoner, so naturally he can enjoy it as he pleases. So Hokage-sama made up a reason to fool me? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked awkward. I think there is some misunderstanding. What's the misunderstanding? The third Kazekage was reincarnated by your Orochimaru. I saw this with my own eyes. The third Kazekage we've been looking for decades actually died in the hands of Konoha. Do you think this is a misunderstanding? The reincarnation of the dirty earth is not based on thin air, it requires the body of the deceased. You brat, pay attention to your attitude. The person you are talking to is the third Hokage, not a cat or a dog. Also, let me remind you that Orochimaru is a traitorous ninja of Konoha. Does anyone else know how your third Kazekage died? Maybe where did Orochimaru pick up the body? Don't frame us casually. Danzo said contemptuously, he had never put Luo Sha in his eyes. Isn't this Danzo? I wonder if you are the advisor of Konoha village. Or has the Hokage changed? As a root minister, don't you find that you have no rules? What are you talking about when the leader talks? Or Konoha, are all the people in the world so unruly that they live as long as a dog? You! Danzong pointed at Luo Sha, trembling with anger. I said, Hokage-sama, you don't care, or can a random person from Konoha point fingers at the shadows of the 5 major nations? When did Luo Sha be so eloquent? Pressing down on Danzo's hand, he said, Master Kazekage, why do you want to use your words? Danzo is the elder of my village. Even if he is not a consultant, his status is also detached, which is equivalent to a consultant. It is not a place to talk right now, let's go to the conference room bar. Advisors must also abide by the rules, point me, and I will talk about it when I become Hokage. Luo Sha glanced at Danzo contemptuously, and signaled Hiruzuru Sarutobi to lead the way. Shaking his head at Danzo, he took Luo Sha to the war room where he was stationed and sat down one after another. Sarutobi Hiruzen said, as Danzo just said, Orochimaru is now Konoha's traitorous ninja. We really don't know the specifics of the death of Sandai Kazekage. Maybe it was really where Orochimaru was discovered. Luo Sha sneered, do you believe what you said, third generation? Kage-level corpses are picked up casually? We have a unique secret technique to sense the third Kazekage, but we haven't picked it up in so many years, and Orochimaru didn't have it during the third battle. Defect. What kind of face does a person who can be a movie star have? Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression remained unchanged. Who can say for sure about luck, but Orochimaru, as a traitorous ninja, has been chased by us all the time. We will definitely increase our efforts to chase him after this time. What a fart to chase and escape. Orochimaru is in Tianjigua, and he also founded the Inin village. Why don't you just pretend to be fools? This is equivalent to saying nothing. Does it matter that Konoha knows it well? Anyway, it's not the first time such a thing has been done. During World War II, 4 Kage-level masters of our Sunagakure village were assassinated. Now it's just a repeat of the past. The source of Sunagakure's recurrence actually comes from Konoha. During World War II, Sand Hidden Village had Samama, Chio, Ebino, Monzaemon, Scorpion's parents, 3 generations of Kazekage and 7 Kage-level masters, and it was about to expand outward. At that time, the surrounding small countries surrendered to Konoha. At the cost of ceding the Kingdom of Rain, Konoha asked Sunagakure to send troops at the same time to teach Hanzo, who did not know the heights of the world and claimed to be a demigod. The Sand-Hidden soldiers divided into 2 groups, Samama, Monzaemon, Chio and Ebizo attacked from the front, and Sandai Kazekage and Scorpion's parents attacked from behind. As a result, I never thought that after Samama, Monzaemon, Chio, and Ebino attacked head-on, Konoha, who was supposed to cover, became Hanzo's helper. Samama and Monzaemon died to cover Chio and Ebino. On the other side, the parents of the 3 generations of Kazekage and Scorpion were also attacked by Konoha Baya. Sei's parents died in battle, and the 3rd generation of Fomying fled back in embarrassment. This is what led to the lack of trust in the subsequent alliance between Sand-In and Konoha. This is also the reason why Chio hates White Fang so much. If you are not as good as others in fair dueling, it is because you are not good at it. But you, Konoha, backstabs your allies and carries out assassinations. How can you let go of your worries? Sarutobi didn't even react when he heard Raza mentioning old things again. He had already had so many verbal fights back then. Back then we miscalculated Hanzo's strength, and we Konoha Sannin almost died in Hanzo's hands. It's meaningless for Kazekage-sama to say these things now. Then let's talk about something interesting. It is always true that Orochimaru used the dirt to reincarnate. I wonder what you two have to say. After the first battle, Konoha swore to seal this technique and never use it again. During a great ninja war, the four nations attacked Konoha. There were so many talented people in the four nations at that time. How did Konoha resist in the end? It is the first generation of Hokage that relies on the dirty soil. However, this also aroused the common hatred of the four great ninja villages, and they formed a group and vowed to destroy the Leaf Village. It was the second Hokage who finally apologized with death, and at the same time Konoha promised to seal up the technique of reincarnation forever. Now that the art of reincarnation in the Dirty Land has appeared again, once it spreads, it will undoubtedly be a disaster for Konoha. Danzo made a gesture, and the four ninjas standing in the corner of the house understood and prepared to form a seal. However, a ray of sand gold directly rolled up the ninja in the south corner behind Luo Sha. For purple flame formation, after playing Orochimaru, you play, so is Hokage-sama ready to talk? Gold dust danced, and strong winds destroyed the entire house. Ai Gong said it well, the truth is only within the range of the cannon, and the dignity is only above the edge of the sword. Konoha didn't pay much attention to Sunagakure's consistent weakness. The life of a small leader of Yunin can make Konoha lose the life of the head of the subfamily of the Hyuga clan. What is the reason? The not-so-perfect Jinchuriki Neo and Edo, relying on the super strength of the fourth generation of Reikage, and relying on the fact that Yunin village is not weaker than Konoha as a whole. That being the case, it's better to show your fist first. Magnetic escape, gold dust waves. Magnetic escape, placer gold world law. Still throwing out two group attack skills, the ground was converted into placer gold, and it swarmed around with Luo Sha as the center, directly destroying Konoha's border garrison. Wooden boards, stones, and various furniture were mixed with placer gold. Among them, there were some ninjas who had no time to dodge. The dense golden thorns in the sky interspersed irregularly, piercing several Konoha ninjas who were about to attack Luo Sha from the air, and then the wounds were turned into gold, completely losing their ability to move. Tricky! Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately moved away from the center of the battlefield, not daring to underestimate the overwhelming gold dust. He has never fought against Luo Sha. During the Third World War, he was in charge of Yunin village and Wuin village. The person in charge of Shiin village was Orochimaru. He also heard the report of Orochimaru. Power. Only now do we know how difficult it is to face it for real. There are more than 500 ninjas and more than 20 jounin at Konoha's border garrison. When Raza's combo machine came down, more than 400 people were buried in an instant, and a third of the jounin was lost. Even in his own raid, it was not like this. Great power. Dust gold is indeed a ninjutsu suitable for group combat. The important thing is that operational ninjutsu like sand gold cannot be generated out of thin air like other 5 escape ninjutsu, but when Luo Sha used it just now, sand gold seemed to come out in a steady stream. 2 done, Huangquan Marsh. Huge swamps are generated, trapping placer gold and temporarily slowing its expansion. As expected of an experienced old man on the battlefield, he accurately restrained the placer gold. Wind escape, vacuum wave. Not to be outdone, Danzo used wind escape, and the wind blade attacked the gold placer, intending to cut off the golden thorns of the gold placer. However, the wind blade hitting the gold thorn only produced its song. Song. Voice. The golden thorn was not destroyed. Danzo reformed the seal, but Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately stopped him. Danzo, stop. But it was too late. Wind escape, vacuum jade. The more powerful wind blade did cut off a few golden thorns, but most of them cut the Konoha ninja fixed on the golden thorns in half. Until now, Raza had always tried to trap people first, but Danzo had gained more than a dozen kills. What did you do? Those who can jump into fear and sneak attack in the first place are all elite level ones, and most of them are jounin and elite chunin. Danzo's tone made Sarutobi heartbroken. Master Fengying has played enough with his prestige, you can let him go. Luo Sha Yujin Shinkong sneered, 3 generations said this. It's obviously because you don't follow martial ethics. It seems like it's my fault. You also killed people yourself. It's none of my business. And, I don't think it's enough. Brighten your muscles. You have to be so bright that the other party is afraid. All the placer gold gathered together and continued to solidify and grow, forming a towering object more than 10 meters high. Luo Sha made seals with both hands. Full-level golden dungeon, Jin Zonengu, Gold Gundam. Following Luo Sha's words, the gold merged into a huge robot with square water chestnut corners. The eyes flashed with a bright light, and he pulled out a beam sword condensed with gold from his waist and swung it down. There was a violent explosion sound in the distance, and where the golden light fell, a huge crater with a length of more than 10 meters and a depth of 3 to 4 meters was formed. It took 3 or 4 seconds for the strong wind of the explosion to blow back, like a strong wind. The name is just a bad taste of Raza. Jin Dun reaches level 10 and awakens an ability similar to Tezoro from One Piece. He can form a golden giant and emit a golden beam. The shape is of course up to you. That would be the handsome Gundam. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the destructive power formed by the Golden Gundam, his eyes twitched. Kanazano, does this have something to do with Susanoo of the Uchiha clan? In any case, this power alone is enough to make Konoha respect. In fact, Sarutobi Hiruzen also had the idea of keeping Luo Sha behind at the beginning, but now, it would be good if he was not left behind. If you want to kill Luo Sha, you need at least 3 shadow levels, and you won't be able to accept it. Danzo unconsciously covered his right eye, wondering if this strength was worth activating, beyond the god, on his own. Luo Sha released Jin Zuanu and fell to the ground, and the overwhelming gold dust disappeared like a phantom. Sarutobi Hiruzen confirmed the conjecture in his heart, and it was indeed generated by chakra. Luo Sha's strength can no longer be measured in the past. Now, I think we should be able to have a good talk. The stronghold was destroyed, morale was damaged, and more than a dozen people died. The Konoha ninjas present looked at Raza with complicated expressions. Luo Sha ignored it directly, and I didn't kill the dozen or so I went to Danzan, and I just killed the 4 men brought by Danzan. Taking out the table and chairs from the ruins, Luo Sha, Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Danzo sat on the negotiating table again. This time the atmosphere was much more peaceful. Master Kazekage has also shown off his strength. Tell me what you want. I said, Hokage-sama, don't always act like a victim. You all know whether the Sandai Kazekage matter has anything to do with you. Luo Sha, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you have increased your strength. Are you still nursing when I and others are running rampant in the ninja world? In the ninja world, was that the time you were so scared that you didn't dare to break up? Unfortunately, if you had spoken first that time, you might be the Hokage now. And in the ninja world, you rely on your old age. Don't you think you are about to burp at your age? And used it to show off. You, Master Fengying, you don't need to be aggressive. No matter how strong you are alone, it's useless. Besides, I'm not afraid of you today. No matter how old this old man is, it's not a problem to take you away. Will all the corpses be sealed and replaced with one? I have to stand there and let you catch me. But Luo Sha also knew that he was not as arrogant as the Uchiha class. After all, today was just testing each other. If he really killed him, he would probably be slightly injured. Luo Sha stretched out 3 fingers. I want Konoha to promise me 3 conditions. Sarutobi Hiruzen said calmly, Kazekage-sama, let's talk about it. It's not okay to go too far. Kumogakure is just here to save face. The implication is that your Sunagakure village is not as good as Kumogakure. What I want is not much less than Kumogakure. The first condition is that I want your Konoha's 8-gate dungeon. Hokage-sama, I have no intention of asking for the price and paying back the money, so I hope you won't argue with me. Sarutobi Hiruzen was about to make a counteroffer but stopped talking. 8-gate dungeon is not precious, and it is extremely difficult to practice. People like Matt Dai are short-lived after all. Konoha wasted a lot of time in order to practice 8-gate dungeon. I've got dozens of good seedlings, but it's too late for me to be happy that you, Sunagakure, are making the same mistakes again. Luo Sha is not doing it for himself. Since Z Luo can create the 7 heavens breathing method, then 8 Dorduinja must have some reference. Second condition, I know you have a wooden ninja named Tianzong. I want him to plant trees for me in Cheyenne Village for 3 months. How do you know about Tianzong? This is Konoha's secret, and few of us know about it. Has Sunagakure's penetration reached this far? Can you please, don't worry, don't do anything else, I will release him immediately after 3 months? Yifei Risen hesitated for a while, and he just happened to be a spy openly, and agreed, yes. How much can the environment of Sunagakure village change in 3 months? Very well, the last condition is also the most important one. You must agree to this condition, otherwise the first 2 conditions are meaningless. I hope everyone can support. End of this chapter. Chapter 56 Scorpion Quick Chapter Come Home. Chapter 56 Scorpion, come home quickly, please subscribe. Hiruzen Sarutobi narrowed his eyes, say it. Luosha said, I want Konoha to announce to the outside world when I need to cooperate that it was the 3rd Kazekage killed by Orochimaru. It doesn't matter how you pick yourselves. It must be the 3rd Kazekage killed by Orochimaru. This is not difficult. Bar. I thought Luosha's 3rd request would be too much, but this is the result. Even if Raza doesn't ask, Konoha will do it. After all, there must be an explanation for the matter of the 3 generations of Kazekage. They have been experienced for many years. Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately understood Raza's plan. He thought of the name of the Sunagakure traitor mentioned by Danzo, the Scorpion of Red Sand. Is this to clear Scorpion's name? Because there was no specific information about Scorpion, and Scorpion had been away from Sunagakure for many years, and Konoha only had an elite Jonin, so he didn't take it seriously. Thinking of Sei's grandma Chio, Uncle Abino, and Luosha's political situation, this means trying to win over Chio and Abino. Since it's just a favor, it doesn't matter. Okay, we have satisfied the 3 needs of the Kazekage-sama. What should the Kazekage-sama satisfy us? Luosha smiled, Sandai, this is boring for you. It was you who were wronged in the first place. Let's do this. I can guarantee that the matter of reincarnation in the Dirty Land will not spread from me, and I can also guarantee my compulsory education plan. It has nothing to do with you, Konoha. What the 3rd generation wanted was Luosha's words. Once the news of the reincarnation of the Dirty Land is spread to the ninja world, the fate that awaits Konoha is unknown. The now wandering Konoha cannot withstand the siege of the 4 major ninja villages. As for the voluntary plan, it was also a surprise, so is this planning to use troops against Yenin village? Let's fight, as long as it's not Konoha, it's up to you to beat you to death. In addition to the angry Danzo, Raza and Sarutobi Hiruzen reached a consensus. As long as there is a message from Raza, Konoha will announce to the outside world that it was Orochimaru who assassinated Sandai Kazekage before the 3rd World War. Luosha was very satisfied. Chio and Ebizo, you guys still come to the bowl obediently. Compared to killing 2 shadow-level masters, it would be better to get help from 2 dedicated people. There is also the arrogant Scorpion. Akatsuki is not on the right path, please come back to the embrace of Sunagakure village. With the 3 Kage-level masters sitting in the town, I don't have to do everything myself in the future, and once Chio and Ebizo agree with me, the remaining tribes in Cheyenne village will also play hammer and hammer, and they will also obediently submit. At that time, the points will not be counted. Points are also credited now. You use your absolute strength to fight 1 against 2, intimidating the enemy ninja village Konoha's 3rd Hokage and Shimura Danzo, forcing them to sign an alliance under the castle, which will have a positive impact on the future of Sunagakure village, and the system points will increase by 400. Going out to Steel Trees unexpectedly got so many benefits, and points were recorded in the account. Luosha felt that he was somewhat lucky. After finalizing the details, the 3rd generation invited Luosha to wait for Tianzong in another stronghold. By then, the training method of 8 Doors Duanjia would also be brought with him. Luosha said that it doesn't matter, just wait here. Go to your stronghold to look at people? Sarutobi was just polite, and then left with Danzo. The other personnel took the wounded and dead comrades to the 2nd stronghold. Luosha continued to Steel Trees, but was interrupted by Orochimaru yesterday, and it's not over yet. People who expect Tianzong to be able to build a few houses with such pitiful chakra and have to gasp for breath after building several houses, what they want is a shocking effect. At the same time, in Akatsuki's cave, Orochimaru flashed on the finger of Korra, the information is wrong, Luosha's magnetic escape is not weaker than the 3rd generation of Kazekage, and there is no weakness in single combat or group attack. I want to ambush you. He needs at least 3 shadow-level powerhouses, or the leader, you can take action yourself. Zero Pain said, since this is the case, let's give up. Our primary goal now is not to kill a Kazekage from Hidden Sand Village, Scorpion. You took over this matter, so go and talk to the other party. The Scorpion on the Jade was silent for a moment. Got it. Soon after in Sand Hidden Village, Fui received a reply from Xie and closed his eyes sadly. It was time to dedicate his life. Meanwhile, the office building in Insha village was already in chaos. Because Sunagakure's spies sent information, it was suspected that the 4th Kazekage fought with an unknown strong man at the border of the Land of Fire, and then stayed in the Konoha stronghold. Luo Sha was suspected of being attacked. For confidants, Maji, Yura, Yi Tsung, and Yashimaru held a meeting overnight. Yura said, Lord Luo Sha is suspected of fighting against a shadow-level powerhouse from the Kingdom of Fire. Is everything going to be okay? Maji said, Lord Luo Sha's strength should not be good, even if he loses, he can escape. Yashimaru said, it's hard to say. Most of my brother-in-law's strength lies in placer gold. Leaving the desert with just the placer gold he carries doesn't have that many advantages. Yi Tseng said directly, then what are you waiting for? Let's go directly to support. The gold dust clone that had been silent finally couldn't help but speak. I told you I'm still here fine. What are you worried about? If something really happened to the main body, I would have turned into smoke long ago. You don't know that I'm still here, are you clear? With his current strength, unless Uchiha and Senju Hashirama are resurrected, no one will be able to keep him. Just wait, there will be a message from the Standard tomorrow. Seeing that Luo Sha's gold dust avatar said so, everyone was relieved. But the next day Raza fought with Saratobi Hiruzen in Danzo, and then waited for Tenzo for 2 days, without any thought of spreading peace to the village. Now everyone couldn't sit still. Maji said, why is there no news yet? Master Luo Sha is not under control. Yu Liang said, it's possible, otherwise why would there be no news at all? Yi Tseng stood up and walked out. I can't wait any longer. I want to go to Konoha to ask for an explanation. The Sand Gold clone stopped everyone again. Don't worry, the main body is really fine. I'll wait for 2 days. Yi Tsung didn't listen at all. You are just a placer gold clone. How can you guarantee it? What if we miss the best rescue time in 2 days? I don't care, I want to go and take a look. The main body is gone, and the placer gold clone has seen it clearly in the past few days, and Yi Tsung is clearly deeply rooted in love, but the attitude of the main body seems to think that women will only affect him to draw his sword, and some people read it. Although I know that 99% of the body is fine, but what about 1% needing pain or Uchiha class? But if the 1% happens, it's useless for you to go. The clones who are familiar with the original body know that the 8th original body just never thought of sending a piece of information back. But the Avatar knew not to reason with Yi Tsung at this time, so the Beauty and Joan could go if he wanted to. Then I won't stop you, Maki, you can go with Gaara too. If something happens to the main body, then Shizuru can help. You can stay with Yura and Yashimaru, the main body will never come back, the village is in chaos gone. Magi immediately went to find Gaara who was digging the soil, and when he heard the news that his father might be in danger, he left without saying a word. There were a lot of speculations in Sand Hidden Village, and only Fui, who knew the truth, felt bitter. On the other side, Raza, who was waiting for Tenzu, stopped delaying and started back to Sunagakure village. He happened to meet Maki, Gaara, and Hayakura on the way. Dad! Gaara excitedly stepped forward and threw himself into Raza's arms. Lord Kazekage. X2. Why are you here? Maji said, Sunagakure village received information that you disappeared after fighting a Kage-level master at the border of the Land of Fire. There has been no news from you for 3 days. We want to go to Konoha to get an explanation. Thank you for your hard work. I forgot to report that I was safe. Something happened. I was attacked by Akatsuki. I'm fine now. The others who returned to the village are saying that I have to settle this account myself. The only people in the village who know his information are obviously someone from the village who paid for his life, and yet he was able to contact Akatsuki. It seems to Jojuro that I shouldn't keep your life. The saved manuscript is gone. I will go to the code word. Everyone give more support. End of this chapter. Chapter 57 Villagers and AMP, #039, Support, the Miracle of Tree Planting. Chapter 57 The Support of Villagers and the Miracle of Tree Planting, 2-in-1 chapter. Please subscribe. Orange Juro and Fui overlooked the biggest loophole. The price of hiring Akatsuki to kill a shadow-level strongman is beyond the reach of ordinary people, unless it is supported by a daimyo. Of course, Chio and Ebino may also be able to afford it, but Yufuyoshi is a famous person. Others don't know it, but I know it. Raza easily targeted Kajuro. It was already dark when everyone rushed back to the village. Luosa asked Maji to arrange Tenzo's residence and took Gaara back home. After taking back the placer gold clone, the memories were shared instantly. Nothing happened to the village, except that tomorrow was the last day of the bet between himself and Chio. It took 3 days to make the scroll, 2 days to go to the country of fire to pack the water source in the country of Kawano, 3 days to negotiate with the third generation after the surprise attack of Orochimaru, and 1 day to come back. So the rumors in the village also increased. Although I left behind the gold dust avatar, and Gaara's incarnation Shua and Fujimori turned the sand and solidified it into soil outside Shine Village every day, but seeing the time getting closer, the outside was still bare, and everyone was worried about Luosha. I squeezed my sweat and became worried. Due to the implementation of the compulsory education policy, Luosha's prestige among the common people is now very high, and half of the tribes, headed by the Sand tribe, have long shared weal and woe with Luosha. People came to the Foaming building one after another and asked if they needed help. The Sand Gold clone also made a special speech to reassure everyone that everything was under control. But the reality is that the outside is still bare. Especially the departure of Gaara, Maki and Yitsan yesterday made people even more disturbed. Even with the appeasement of the placer avatar, everyone still strongly wants to do something for Luosha, to share some of it. So under the auspices of Shalu, these people were divided into 2 groups. A group of people followed Fujimori to learn the method of solidifying sand into soil. Most people in Sand Hidden Village knew how to use sand, and actually learned a lot. Others who couldn't learn it were responsible for turning over soil. This was the first non-military civil war between tribes and civilians. In this way, close cooperation began. When Luosha came back, even though it was already late at night, these people were still working hard to solidify the land. Luosha hurriedly dismissed everyone and went home, feeling warm at the same time that her efforts were not in vain, and there are still many people in the world who know how to repay their kindness. Shine Village Civilian Area. Damon is one of the people Luosha saw tonight who helped solidify the land. His son and daughter can go to school for free. In addition to his recognition of Sha's will, Damon respects Luosha very much. In the past few days, I prayed for Luosha's safety and success every day, and even took the initiative to go to Fujimori to learn the art of solidifying sand and turning it into soil, and tried my best to help. However, he was not talented enough, so he only needed to turn sand diligently. Damon, why are you back? Didn't you say that you want to solidify the land all night and help Master Luosha? The wife asked in confusion when her husband came back and said that he wanted to stay overnight to help Master Luosha turn over the soil. Honey, Lord Luosha just came back and told us not to worry. He will definitely give us a big forest tomorrow. In 1 day, is it possible? How is it impossible? You have to trust Master Luosha. Master Luosha has not done what he said. That's right, but even if Master Luosha doesn't succeed, he probably won't step down for such a small matter. Humph, who dares to let Lord Luosha step down? Who else can be Kazekage except Lord Luosha? Neither can Chio and Ebino, 2 advisors, and Lord Shalu supports Lord Luosha. Unite and support Master Luosha, there will be no problem. Many civilians have the same idea and are determined not to let Luosha step down. This time we must fight. For this reason, Shalu specifically explained to Luosha that it's okay if no trees can be planted tomorrow, so Luosha should not be too stressed. I have already arranged a series of connections, and when the time comes, the Sand tribe, the River tribe, and the civilians will go to insurance together, and there will be no problems. Luosha was touched and amused when she saw her uncle, who was quite old, leading his clansmen and common people to solidify the land at night. I have told him a long time ago, and the gold dust avatar has always emphasized that if I didn't really care about it, I wouldn't do it. There was no way, because he knew much more than the civilian Sha Lu, and he also thought that Luo Sha wanted to rely on the ability of the Flower Clan to promote the growth of trees. But how many trees can those people from the Flower Clan stimulate? Moreover, the secret arts of the Flower Clan cannot be taught to others, and there is no way to help them if they want to. Luo Sha reluctantly promises that there is no need to do anything, and you will know tomorrow. The Liegi clan and the Menji clan also got the news of Luo Sha's return, and their hearts were more of a mentality of watching a play. Tomorrow is the last day of the agreement. The bare land, Luo Sha is only coming back now, don't forget what you promised but a forest. Could this thing still be conjured out of thin air? Of course, even if Luo Sha voluntarily agreed to make a bet with this mistake, it would be impossible for him to step down. But when he spoke such big words and spoke so confidently, it was Luo Sha himself who was slapped in the face. In fact, the two tribes already regretted not blocking Luo Sha's compulsory education plan. In the past few days, Luo Sha's prestige has been so high. Looking at those civilians and tribal ninjas who are under the sun to do voluntary labor for Luo Sha every day, I feel deeply about Luo Sha's calculations. In order to win the bet for Luo Sha, one by one did not even do the tasks. Due to the conditions of Sunagakure village, civilian ninjas gave up doing tasks. With only subsidies, the income dropped not even a little bit. Everyone would rather eat bran swallowing vegetables and help Luo Sha. This is something that the second clan never dreamed of. With the support of civilian ninjas in more than half of the tribes in the village, Luo Sha's war plan will be launched. In the future, he will pretend to say that funds are tight and suspend compulsory teaching. With the financial support of daimyo now, the tuition fee will be returned to the normal level by then, and the hearts of the people will have been reaped. It's a pity that it could be blocked at the beginning, so there is no reason now. Even these days, many small tribes that were originally attached to the second clan have become more thoughtful, and several have defected to Luo Sha and sent their children to the ninja school. What is the will of the sand? It is imperceptible, and it is said to contribute to the hidden sand village. They also knew that Luo Sha had already written a booklet of the speech that he gave at the beginning of school that day, and sent it to the border guards in overseas stations, requiring them to study it. According to the information sent back by the tribe, the effect was also very good. Almost everyone hummed "Unity is strength." 2 days ago, Iwagakure invaded, and they were all killing each other with red eyes, and their fighting spirit was a little stronger. If things go on like this, the Lai clan and the Men clan may gradually become the public enemies of the whole village. It's hard to do. Standing on the cliff, Fui watched Luo Sha return to the village. Having received the message from Xia, he naturally knew that Luo Sha was safe and sound. He controls the intelligence network of Sha'in village, and he also knows Luo Sha's information. But tomorrow is the last day of the agreement. Although Luo Sha was not killed successfully, but Luo Sha was blocked, it should not be possible to complete the bet. In this case, he can still keep his position as Minister of Intelligence. Of course, if you can't keep it, it's time for you to devote yourself to the daimyo. Early the next morning, the outside of Sha'in village was densely packed with people. There was no notice from Luo Sha this time, but people who cared about Luo Sha had been waiting outside the rock wall of Sunagakure village before dawn. They were worried about Luo Sha. Although Luo Sha has used action several times to prove that he does what he says, but there is only 1 day left to turn Sha'in village into an oasis in the desert, which is obviously impossible in people's perception. People expect in contradiction. In the eyes of everyone, Luo Sha came slowly to the outside of the village and greeted people along the way. The original desert had been solidified by Shizuru and Fujimori for a radius of more than 10 kilometers. The firm ground brings a different touch. Thanks to the solidification of the land, there is no sky full of sand in Sunagakure village now. After planting the forest that you have released yourself, an oasis in the desert is born. Luo Sha turned to the crowd. 10 days ago, I promised to give Sha'in village an oasis. You may find it unbelievable, but what I want to say is that miracles are created. As I said, Sha'in village never lacks hard work as a matter of man's victory. We believe Lord Luo Sha. We believe Lord Luo Sha. Cheers came from the crowd, and Luo Sha pulled Tianzong forward. Tianzong already knew about Luo Sha's bet last night, and also understood the reason why Luo Sha named him, but turning Sha'in village into an oasis, although you have the land conditions, but you think highly of me for a day. Tianzong said directly, forgive me to speak bluntly, Kazekage-sama, although Hokage-sama wants me to cooperate with you fully, but you will give me about a year to make Sand Hidden Village an oasis. Carrots, that is, I can create a piece of land for you. Of course I know you can't do it by yourself. I'll be able to plant trees by myself in a while, and you'll be responsible for helping me check for mistakes and fill in the gaps. The purpose of calling Tianzong is to build houses after the renovation. Sha'in village is built with sand and earth. After the sandstorm problem is solved, Luo Sha's next step is to renovate the village. There must be some fresh elements. The wooden house area is good. Take out the seal scroll and use all your strength to turn stone into gold. All the land in front of you is turned into gold dust, and tree nests are evenly divided. Gold placer backfill, lifting touch stone into gold. In less than 1 minute, more than 100 big trees were planted. Towering trees over 50 years old. Luo Sha followed suit, and more than an hour later, the originally bare land in front of Sand Hidden Village was surrounded by lush forests. Everyone was dumbfounded. Of course they could understand Luo Sha's operation, but was it that simple? They also thought about how Luo Sha would create miracles, and the forest that appeared before them was also a miracle, but it was too incredible. And how did Lord Luo Sha do it, turning the ground into gold dust, and then turning it back to the ground? However, no matter what, a forest really appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Crash! The branches swayed, and a cool wind blew out from the woods. For many years, Sunagakure village has always had a rough wind, but there has never been such a gentle breeze. It turns out that the wind blowing on people can also be very comfortable. Not only that, the originally hot weather immediately dropped several degrees under the shade of trees. Only then did the people in Insha village realize that Lord Luo Sha did what he said, and he created an impossible miracle. I don't know who was the first to take off the hat to prevent sand and let the breeze blow through my hair. It felt so comfortable. Long live Lord Luo Sha! Long live Lord Luo Sha! As if it was contagious, 2, 3, finally joined together, and the voice of Lord Luo Sha's long live was everywhere in the crowd. Many people could not help but kneel to the ground and salute Luo Sha with tears in their eyes. Master Luo Sha really created a miracle. Countless people ran towards Luo Sha and threw Luo Sha high to express their excitement. You can throw it away later, when I finish planting the tree. But now who cares about the issue of tree planting? No one will doubt whether Luo Sha can finish planting trees, they just want to express the highest respect to Luo Sha. Only Tianzong looked at the tree planted by Luo Sha thoughtfully. Why is the species of this tree familiar? Tenzo finally understood why when he found Raza, the surrounding area was bare for several kilometers, and he thought it was caused by the battle with the Hokage. Feelings, you just ran to our house and stole the tree, right? It's a shame that you dare to have a sudden idea. This method of planting trees is simply unheard of. Especially for this kind of overall transplantation, the survival rate is probably very high. It's not an exaggeration to call it a miracle. If it wasn't for Luo Sha's awakening, alluvial gold wouldn't be so easy. Instead of manipulating the sand, you need to sand the land first, then take out the tree. When transplanting, you need to sand the land, wrap it around and then solidify. Not to mention the time and effort required, hundreds of people are needed, so the movement is huge. Luo Sha easily stole a forest and came back. After everyone finished reveling, they put Luo Sha down and continued to plant big trees around Sand Hidden Village. In half a day, Sand Hidden Village truly became an oasis in the desert. Except for the passage in and out, everything was lush and green. Not only that, there are still many big trees left. It is reserved for greening the interior of Sunagakure village. The collected water was then placed in the underground reserve of Sunagakure village, and it was immediately announced that from now on, all members of the Terra tribe in Sunagakure village would have unlimited water supply for 1 day. Luo Sha was thrown up again. The host successfully created the myth of the desert oasis, the reputation of the people in Hidden Sand village reached a new high, and the system points increased by 50,000. Amidst the cheers of the crowd, Fui had already left the stage, and sure enough, everything was as he expected. Luo Sha's actions could not be deduced with common sense. Who would have thought that Luo Sha would achieve the feat of an oasis in the desert in such a way? His intelligence department can't keep it. Seal the scroll? Fui thought of the mother and daughter Luo Sha brought back a few days ago. The red hair must have been made by them and not escaped. Luo Sha cannot be allowed to have so many talents. The applicability of the sealing scroll is too great. Quietly arriving outside Shangling's ward in the hospital, a woman and a child appeared. It was them with red hair. Fui directly broke the window and entered, forming a seal and casting a spell, Wind Escape, Wind Blade. 2 wind blades attacked Xiangling and Shanglin. After posting my testimonials, many people voted for me. I have shallow eye sockets. Thank you for your support. End of this chapter. Chapter 58 Showdown with Dai Ebino. Chapter 58 Showdown with Chio Ebizo, please subscribe. However, there was no panic in Shangling's eyes. Looking at the incoming wind blade, he raised his right hand, the fireball condensed, and the wind blade was melted by the fireball. Shudan, you are Yitsong. Fui was shocked. The white smoke flashed, Yitsong changed back to himself, and the fragrant phosphorus next to him turned into a Yasha pill. Yakura and Yashimaru, have they all been guessed? Fui, I didn't expect it to be you. Yitsong and Yashimaru have always been ordered to protect Shanglin's mother and daughter. Today, by planting trees and afforestation, the matter of sealing the scroll will definitely be exposed. Luo Sha was worried that someone would come to take Shangling away, but Fui didn't expect to kill Shangling directly. Fui felt dejected. Everything had been plotted by Luo Sha, so he had no choice but to drag Chio and Ebizo into the water. Luo Sha doesn't know what's good or bad, and actually wants to compete with the 2 advisors Chio and Ebino for power. It's his fate to come back alive. So, it's really you who did what happened to Shao? Yitsong asked seriously. Because of you, I couldn't see Master Luo Sha's tree planting miracle, and I dared to assassinate Master Luo Sha. That's right, it's me, Chio and Ebino-sama will not let Luo Sha go. He took out a handle of kunai and stabbed it into his heart. Neither Yitsong nor Yashimaru expected that Fui would die so simply. The masterminds were also revealed, Chio and Ebizo, the 2 advisors of Hidden Sand Village. The 2 couldn't make a judgment, so they had to take out the sealing scroll and seal Fui's body first, so as to prevent the news from spreading, and prepared to report to Luo Sha. As a result, when I got out of the hospital, I found that there were people celebrating everywhere. No matter what tribe or civilians you were, they were hugging each other affectionately, regardless of each other. Looking far away, only then did I see the dense forest in the distance of Shine Village. This is indeed a miracle. Damn Fui, you actually caused me to miss such an important thing. If he didn't need to show it to Master Luo Sha, Yitsong would have wanted to evaporate it into a mummy for Fui right now. With the combination of forests and rock walls, there is no longer any gravel in the air in Sand Hidden Village, and the overall air is several degrees cooler. Raza is being carried on the shoulders of the crowd in a grand parade in Sunagakure Village. Yashimaru looked at Yitsong's nymphomaniac look and took the initiative to say that he would take Fui's body to dispose of it, and you could do whatever you want. Yitsong immediately disappeared into the crowd. The carnival lasted for almost a day, and people took out their own food reserves, sang and danced, and celebrated the birth of the miracle in Shine Village. Luo Sha rubbed her temples with her thumbs. Her head was a little dizzy after being forced to drink a lot of wine by Sha Lu. Listening to Yashimaru's report in the office, looking at Fui's body, and facing a few sober men who were a little drunk just now, he said, "Tell me, what do you think?" Of course I want to find an explanation from Chio and Ebizo. The assassination of Kazekage, regardless of whether they are consultants or not, can't just let it go. Yitsong was born as a commoner, and he has the least sense of existence for Chio and Ebino. In the eyes of Yitsong now, everything is inferior to Luo Sha's safety, and Chio and Ebino are assassinated before him, so there is nothing to be afraid of. Others are different. Chio and Ebizo are the living elders who founded Sunagakure Village. Their existence itself is the symbol of Sunagakure Village. A few days ago, Raza even praised their achievements in public, but now something like this happened. It's not that Chio and Ebizo can't be killed. Although their strength is not weak, Raza's magnetic escape restraint is not a problem at all. But killing him will cause a series of problems. Although the two have retired for many years, their prestige in Sunagakure village is still very high. Of course, now that most of the tribes have chosen to surrender to Luosha, Lai, men and the remaining stubborn small tribes are not a problem at all, but they will also cause turmoil in Sand-Hidden Village. Luosha has always expressed the hope that the soldiers of Sunagakure village can be recovered without bloodshed. Maji thought for a while and said, Lord Raza, if that doesn't work, just lift the table. The influence of Chio and Ebizo has declined. Today you have created another miracle in Sunagakure village. I believe that even if you suppress them with force, the village there won't be any major changes, so it's better to strike preemptively when the other party is not ready to react. As Luosha's number one doglicker, Maji felt ashamed that he was not as courageous as Yi Tsang, and he still did not put Master Luosha first. Yulian's face changed. He really couldn't say anything more, but said, what if it is under house arrest? It is my selfishness. After all, I have to consider the soldiers stationed on the border. They don't know the situation in the village. I'm afraid they will flustered. Yashimaru said, then I will contact the Sand Clan. Whether you want to kill him or put him under house arrest, you need to prepare in advance. Luosha was very pleased to see several loyal subordinates. Even Yu Liang stood firmly on his side and said, you all think too much. Do you mean what Fui says? Ma Ji said, you don't mean the two consultants? But Fui has been the intelligence minister for many years, and he knows that it is Ebinozo's faction. He controls the intelligence department. It is no problem to contact Akatsuki. As for the funds for the assassination, Shio and Ebinozo are two consultants. I can afford it too. Indeed, as Luosha said, if he hadn't known the plot and knew that Fui was a famous sect, he would have felt this way. Because he is Chio and Ebino's subordinate for many years, he moved from place to place. What would you do if you encountered the same situation? Would you take the initiative to say that there would be no good end to fighting Lord Luosha? You still clamor that you won't let go? A few people fought quietly for a while. If it were a hostile force, they might do this. However, Raza, Chio, and Ebizo all belonged to the same camp before, and the current conflict was not a life-or-death situation. Fui's actions undoubtedly added fuel to the fire and intensified the conflict. If it were me, even if it was really Luosha's order, he would have taken it upon himself and said it had nothing to do with Master Luosha. The more they thought about it, the more headaches they got. Yi Tsang was a little unsure, so, this matter really has nothing to do with Chio and Ebizo? Luosha said, 90%. Ma Ji said, but what is Fui's motive for framing the two of them? Ebizo has trained him for so many years. Luosha chuckled, what motive could there be? He was never just from Chio and Ebino. Yi Tsang was still very angry and said, Master Fenging must know who the real culprit is. Tell me and I will go find her to settle the score. Luosha comforted, Yi Tsang, it's easy to grow old when you're always angry. I'll solve this matter myself. As you said, Fui said so I have to come to ask for guilt. Does Master Luosha think that I am too grumpy? Master Luosha likes ladies' styles. Yes, I heard that Karura-sama was a lady before, but what should I do? Ask Yashimaru later? Luosha stepped forward to seal Fui's body again. You should disperse, I will go to Chio and Ebizo's place. Yi Tsang said quickly, it's too dangerous for you to be alone. I'll go with you. Maki, Yura, and Yashimaru agreed. Luosha waved her hand, I still don't want it. Although Yi Tsang, you have Quasi-Kage level strength, I can handle it by myself when facing Chio and Ebizo, but I have to distract myself from protecting you when you are here. Yi Tsang bit his lower lip unwillingly, thinking that his quasi-shadow level strength was not low, but in a shadow level battle, he was just a burden. I am still too weak, so I will not be able to catch up with Master Luosha. Don't worry, it's very difficult for magnetic escape to fail when faced with the puppet technique. Not long after, they came to the mountainside where Chio and Ebino lived. Luosha's arrival surprised the two of them. Ebino thought that Luosha was here to hand over the intelligence department of If it's a handover, there may be no other way for the time being. It's not that the old man doesn't admit defeat, it's just that Fui hasn't been contacted for a day. Of course we can't contact you too because Fui is here. Release Fui's corpse that sealed the scroll. Shio and Ebizo looked at each other and made a defensive posture. Hai Laozing said, I don't know what Master Luosha means by this. Fui revealed that 5 days ago, he was instructed by 2 advisors, Shio and Ebizo, to contact the Akatsuki organization to assassinate me at the border of the Land of Fire. After the matter was exposed, he committed suicide, saying that the 2 would avenge him. Shio and Ebizo were speechless, as they still didn't understand that they were being used as a weapon by Fui. Shio said, I said it wasn't us, do you believe me? Luosha said, of course I believe it, otherwise I wouldn't be the only one here. Shio and Ebino relaxed. Hai Laozing said, don't worry, we will definitely give Master Fengying an explanation for this matter. Luosha smiled, don't be in a hurry, you too, I was ambushed by Akatsuki in the Land of Fire. The person who attacked was Orochimaru. He used the technique of reincarnation of the dirty soil, and the people in the dirty soil are 3 generations. There will be an additional chapter in 2 minutes. End of this chapter. Chapter 59 The Truth of the Year. Chapter 59 The Truth of the Year, add 1 for subscription. The empty mountainside was silent for a moment, and Shio and Ebizo seemed to be petrified. The already old face seemed to have aged another 10 years in an instant. Shio Furuefuha's face showed a trance. Really, is that brat Sandai really still dead? Luosha asked, my lords, it seems that I have already guessed. Shio said, there has been no news for so many years. In fact, everyone knows the result, but they just don't want to believe it. Luosha sat cross-legged on the ground casually. Really, but the 3rd generation has escaped from the dirt and told me a lot of amazing information. Shio and Ebino could no longer remain calm with their wrinkled faces. Shio was unsure. Sandai, what did he say to you? Judging from the performance of the 2 people, it turns out that the 2 of them knew the inside story of San's death. If you look at the battle between Shio and Xia in the plot, you will know that when Xia took out 3 generations, Shio was more convinced than shocked. Xia was voluntarily killed by Shio even though he clearly had the advantage, as if he was looking for some kind of relief, and indeed there was a lot. Inside story. Although I really wanted to make something up, unfortunately I didn't want to spread rumors about the deceased. After the 3rd generation confirmed that I was the Kazekage, I asked him if he wanted to avenge him. He told me no, and asked me to listen to the 2 advisors. Suggestions, so shouldn't you 2 tell me something? Shio swayed, fell to the ground, and muttered in a daze, is that so? Is that the idea of that kid, Kawaii? I'm sorry, old lady. Ebizo supported Shio, and sighed, Master Kazekage, why bother to ask, you should know, right? The 3rd generation died at the hands of the scorpion. We should also thank the 3rd generation for his generosity and not making it public. Otherwise, the current there is no longer any place for me, my siblings, in Shine Village. Shio said nothing, still trapped in self-blame and regret. Hai Laozing continued helplessly, Lord Luosha needs the loyalty of my brother and sister when he comes this time, right? Now that the matter has come to this point, we have no choice, right? Luosha disagreed, there are many kinds of allegiance, sincerity, and falsehood. After all, the 2 of you are the meritorious service of building the village. To be honest, after thinking about it for so many years, many of what the 2 of you have done seems to be fighting for power and profit with me. It seems to be preserving the strength of Hidden Sand Village, such as allowing Shalu to keep the ninjutsu authorization, so that the power of the elders can never really enter Hidden Sand Village, and keep the control of Shoha. So, I want to know what I should know. Now I should be qualified. And I can make a promise to you too. I made a promise with Konoha on the condition that I don't tell Konoha about reincarnation. As long as I send a message, they will tell the ninja world that the death of the 3rd Kazekage was killed by Orochimaru's sneak attack back then, and it has nothing to do with Scorpion. Shio looked up in disbelief, what do you mean? Luosha replied affirmatively, as long as it is possible, Xia can go home anytime. Go home? Can Xie go home in an open and above-board manner? Shio covered her face with her hands, tears streaming down her face. Hai Laozong didn't dare to confirm. Luo Sha, the third generation is your master after all, can you really? He himself doesn't pursue it anymore, why should I meddle in it, so can Mr. Hai Laozong clear up my confusion? Shio sighed, Ebizo, tell him. After hearing Shio's words, Ebizo calmed down for a while and finally said slowly, it's a long matter. I have plenty of time. Ebizo said leisurely, the matter can be traced back to the Second Ninja War. We were stabbed in the back by Konoha and sent troops at the expense of the Rain Country. As a result, Hanzo's strength was misjudged. Shaman and Monzaemon fought for he died in the battle covering the evacuation of the two of us, and Scorpion's parents were killed by White Fang in order to cover the third generation. So what? In the beginning, we also thought it was just Konoha's simple breach of contract, but Midai did not give up on the investigation. It was only later that we found out that the daimyo and Danzo had colluded and betrayed the village. Although the current daimyo is a son of a concubine, the previous daimyo at that time loved the sons of concubines even more, and publicly stated many times that he would change the son of a concubine to be a daimyo. The current daimyo has also looked for the village, but you also know that the village is generally not interfering in the daimyo's household affairs, so the current daimyo found Danzo at the expense of the village. It was this kind of self-destruction of the Great Wall again. Luo Sha felt speechless for a while. So this is why the third generation had to change his name despite the great prospects? Ebizo admitted. Yes, the third generation has always felt ashamed of us, so after finding out the real reason, they planned to kill the daimyo directly. It was stopped by the two of us. At that time, the daimyo had succeeded to the throne and the daimyo protection agreement was in place. The third generation planned to kill the daimyo directly. We thought we had persuaded him to risk his life, but in the end he came up with something like a coup d'etat. My sister and I naturally wanted the name to die, so we acquiesced in this seemingly feasible method. Luo Sha was puzzled, but how did the scorpion get involved? Hai Laozong laughed at himself, we all underestimated Orange Juro. At the beginning, no one took him seriously. He knelt in the foaming building for 3 days and 3 nights. If it wasn't for fear of scaring the snake, the third generation would have killed him at that time. Afterwards, the younger brother of the daimyo started a coup, and he returned to the tribe, but he never expected that he would set his mind on Xia. Unbeknownst to us, he contacted Xia. Xia, a child who has been autistic since his parents died. He only had Xiao Chong as a friend, so he killed Xiao Chong and blamed Xia. Xia has never been with him, we said it. Orange Juro also threatened Scorpion that if you don't cooperate with him, after the third generation kills the daimyo, let us bury the daimyo with him. Scorpion will believe it? It's also our fault. After the events of World War II, we also suspected that there was a mole in the village, so we pretended to be at odds with the third generation. In fact, it was to catch the mole. In addition, we didn't pay attention to the scorpion, so we let Orange Juro take advantage of it. I thought the third generation would really deal with us. Shio, who had been silent all this time, finally said, hee, it's ridiculous, I thought our siblings were at odds with the second and third generations. I let go of my obsession with Kazekage a long time ago, otherwise it wouldn't be your turn, Luo Sha, to take the position. That brat Samama selflessly dedicates the ninjutsu he developed to the village, who would be jealous of him. There is also the little ghost of the third generation. Back then, he and Xia's father were like brothers. He always regarded Xia's father as his elder brother, and even said that he would assist him as Kazekage. But in order to find out the inner ghost, we had no choice but to pretend to be at odds, and it's my fault that I was obsessed with the pain of losing my son and didn't care about Xia's growth, so he was taken advantage of by Orange Juro. Only then did Raza understand why when the third generation came to power, rumors spread in the village that the third generation had colluded with Konoha to kill the father of Scorpion, who was most likely to become the new generation of Kazekage. Ebizo said helplessly, perhaps it was our showmanship that gave Sunagakure village a bad start. Sunagakure village used to be so united, but since the news of the discord between our siblings and the Kazekage spread, various tribes have started to fight for their own benefit. He also began to take the initiative to take sides. Xia is a sensitive child, and he was also lost in it, thinking that the third generation would really attack us. so Scorpio used himself as a bait to trick Sandai away. Orange Juro found Danzo and Orochimaru. Sandai hadn't set up defenses against Scorpion at that time, so he blocked Scorpion behind him. But Scorpio, we are sorry for Sandai. Okay, now the background of Zhangsha Hidden Village has been basically clarified. There should be no setting or anything later. Of course, if you don't like it, it may have slipped away. Thank you to every book lover who subscribes and reads. I went to continue typing, but I was too panicked because I didn't save the manuscript. If I didn't work hard, I couldn't finish 4 chapters. End of this chapter. Chapter 60. Please give our siblings a chance to redeem. Chapter 60. Please give us siblings a chance to atone. Please subscribe. So, Orange Juro also threatened you with this matter, and gave up his support for Daimyo's younger brother? I felt that with the abilities of the two of them, they should have chosen to overthrow the Daimyo when they closed their eyes. Hai Laozang said helplessly, yes, we naturally know that the Daimyo will not let it go, but we are old, and between the village and the Scorpion, we chose the Scorpion. You will know the rest of it. It can only be said that everyone has selfish intentions, and no one can ask anyone to be great enough to be a saint. His son and daughter-in-law have died in the battle, leaving Xia alone. The two of them must have struggled hard. I have also been wondering these days. If Chiyo and Ebizo are really people obsessed with power, then in the Third War, they can directly take over, with enough reputation and strength, and their predecessors will not have a chance at all. After the end of the war, the power grab did not begin at the very beginning. It started after the predecessor was persecuted step by the elders. It can only be said that no one is perfect. Although the two chose Xia, they live in guilt for the village all the time. You two, very hard work. Chiyo finally calmed down. You don't have to feel sorry for us, we are the sinners of Sunagakure village. If the third generation was still there, Sunagakure village might be stronger. Even if we could continue to support the change of daimyo, the village would not be what it is today. It seems that if we had guided you with a firm stance, the village would have been much better off. And my business? Chiyo said with emotion. Who would have imagined that the heroic and decisive you on the battlefield would be so useless in politics, completely like two people. Even if you were half of what you are now, we will fully support you. In the end, some of your lists were too disappointing, and Orange Juro made the condition that we both retired halfway and didn't reach out to Sand Hidden Village, so we agreed, and we were tired. It's none of my business, it's all the predecessor's fault. Also, in memory, once the war was over, the two of them almost hand in hand taught their predecessors to handle government affairs. As a result, their predecessors faced Orange Juro's poor performance, which made them gradually despair. Only then did they gather their last strength and pin their hopes on the future. Who would have thought that after so many years, Luo Sha would rise again? You have been like this for a long time, how did you become where you are today? Luo Sha is also very helpless, the matter of time travel is beyond my control. Fortunately, I came to the showdown. If I felt that Xia had the trump card to kill Foaming, I would pick the two of them, and the final result would probably be to force the two to death. Okay, now that I know what you two think, then I know what to do next. Luo Sha stood up and prepared to say goodbye. Chiyo stopped him. Are you going to kill Orange Juro? That's right, this kind of person jumps around. Don't you want to kill yourself to make yourself sick? Perhaps we can keep him. Grandma Chindai, are you afraid that he will reveal the matter about the scorpion? Don't worry, I won't let him have this opportunity. Besides, the effect of what he said will be different from what I said. I still have Konoha's endorsement, so it won't cause trouble of. Chiyo shook her head. No, I believe you, but do you also want to change your name? A character who relies on our protection should not have too many ways to control him. You care too much about the daimyo protection agreement. If you dare to come to the 4 major ninja villages now, I will make them lose a piece of meat. The confident and disdainful attitude made Chiyo dazed. She was really an unexpected kid. Luo Sha, look at your recent governance methods. If I'm not wrong, you want to develop the village wholeheartedly, right? Otherwise, we old guys would have been wiped out long ago. Not to mention smoothing things out, as long as the matter about Xia is brought out, both of them can only commit suicide in shame. Without their siblings, Sha'in village is still in Luosha's hands, but Luosha doesn't. I've been exhausted for so many years. Anyway, I'm also Kazekage. Of course, I hope that the village as a whole will become prosperous and strong. The love of the villagers gave Luosha a great sense of accomplishment. The development of Sand Hidden Village was no longer just about earning system points. Of course, it would be better if both were not delayed. Shio said, "You are doing the right thing these days. The filth of Hidden Sand Village is constantly surfacing, but if you kill Orange Juro with thunderous means and put Daimyo under house arrest, these darkness will sink again. What will you do? Did you directly kill the Ryuki and Minichi clans? They are the descendants of Raito and Manzaemon. What do people who don't know the inside story think of you? What do you two mean?" Shio smiled. "Luosha, have you ever caught fish? If you want a fish, you must have bait." Luosha pondered, "You two want to use your bodies as bait? Is this necessary?" Shio said, "Raza, what you want is a truly united Sunagakure village. If the two of us join you, you kill Kijuro directly. It is indeed easy to control the daimyo, but it will also leave consequences. I know you are strong enough, and as long as you are around, these things will be suppressed. But these things are hidden dangers after all. If they are given the chance, they will be like Orange Juro back then. Just like when we fought against the third generation, no one thought that the Lieji clan and the Menji clan would be so thirsty for power. At first, I thought they were sincerely supporting us." Luosha was silent. When Sandai, Shio, and Ebizo were openly at odds with each other, the Retsu and Mon tribes of the four major tribes who were originally like one family immediately took sides publicly. If it is reasonable to say that the Ryuki clan is a clan of Chio and Ebinozo, then no one in the Manzaemon clan would have thought that they would present the 10 members of the Kinmatsu family from Manzaemon as a gift. Sees half of the authorization of puppetry. During the Third World War, Lai Yang and Men Bingwei fought against each other even more. If it wasn't for the imminent destruction of the village, Luosha was the strongest, and in peacetime, one of the two would definitely be the leader. Shio continued, "Now you have the support of the vast majority of the tribes in the village, but do you know who is sincere and who is fake? But as long as our two immortal faces are against you, no matter who is fake or real, they will find us and bite our bait. Your compulsory education policy and the will of the sand have gradually made many people unable to sit still. Orange Juro and many tribes have come to us privately, including those who have surrendered to you. Since they want to surface one by one, why not find them completely? The rotten meat has already smelt in sores. Only when it is cut off can good meat grow again. Since Luosha wants to be a good Kazekage, then the two of us will cooperate with you." Luosha thought for a while and said, "I still think it's troublesome, so I'll just kill it. With the support of you two, those stinky fish and rotten shrimps will not be on the table. In a few months, Sunagakure village will be prosperous. Who dares to take the lead?" Luosha's thinking is different from that of Chio and Ebino, and he doesn't take these ancient tribes seriously. "Luosha, didn't the third generation also ask you to listen to our suggestions? Besides, this is also my selfishness. If we directly take refuge in you, I am afraid that the child Xia will never come back for the rest of his life. But if the conflict between me and you spreads open, that child Xia may come back on his own initiative." Luosha was relieved. Scorpio's awkward character may really be like this. Shio said again, "Don't hesitate, Luosha, the two of us thought we would never get a good death in this life, but we didn't expect that we would have a chance to atone for our sins before we died. Please help us. When Scorpion comes back, we can truly retire. The village still belongs to you young people." "That won't work. An elder in a family is like a treasure. You two have two treasures. It's too early to retire. How can a movie-level master retire? There are only 3 of us in Sha'in village, and maybe Yeet-san will soon be there, but there are not too many masters. If you two retire, you will lose 2 loyal shadows who know how to repay you. Not worth it, very bad. It's not that people are needed to support the big and small scenes, and I can't just be on my own. You, even the elderly, will not be spared. Let's talk about how to perform the next play." Shio and Ebizo looked at each other and flexed their muscles. Chio laughed and said, "We are all haters, so naturally we have to fight. The two of us also want to see the strength of Kazekage-sama, but don't underestimate us just because we are old. Please, Kazekage-sama, please use all your strength." "All, are you sure?" "I'm afraid that this mountainside will not be kept. Since we have chosen to face it, why are we still stuck here? Lord Kazekage, please take over." End of this chapter.